Takes that shot away. Shoots his head.
Hi, this is David Pasternak.
Pasternak with a low laser.
And you're listening to 98.5 Sports Hub.
It's called rising and grinding.
Start your
Got
day.
your finger on the pulse, Fred.
Begin your
Seldom right and never wrong.
right here. Is that Dutcher or is that Hardy?
I know, looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. Hello. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. 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 Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Let's talk about cheese.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
What the
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe to keep up to date with the best moments from Boston's Home for Sports. 617-779-0985.
Thanks.
Yeah. You know what's happening, Pasta. You know what time it is.
Finally.
Monopoly.
Yes, that's you had a whole evening to yourself to play Monopoly. That will get you 1/100th into the game, because that is, of course, Monopoly. The game he's talking about is the socialist version
Monopoly.
of Monopoly, which is literally you acquire horses and then and land. Well, I don't know if you acquire the land, or if the government allows
The government might give you a little parcel.
give you a parcel for the horse to graze on.
What is the best thing you eat before a game?
Pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fun with that. Well, I'll tell you, the Bruins surprised everyone by winning Saturday night.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, you did a good job. You scored the overtime goal, and I will tell you this, is that I didn't realize how much it meant to me until it happened. Happened, and I woke up the next morning, and yesterday I felt good. It improved my mood.
Yeah. I said the same thing. Somebody, a relative in Michigan, texted me, said, "Oh, we're just sitting here at breakfast figuring how happy you must be today." And I said, actually, you're right. I said, and not only that, it makes living in Boston that much easier for at least a week. Until they get, I don't know, maybe swept by the Panthers or something.
No, don't get negative again. Come on.
Well, but you know how the mood of a lot of people, their mood is affected by this.
Yes.
And people just get crappy about it.
I felt like crap on Friday. Well, I assumed they would lose. I said, Fred and I both said they were going to lose that game.
Look, nobody could come up with a reason as to why they were going to win on Saturday other than go Bees. You couldn't put forth a logical argument as to why you thought they were going to win.
And after they fell behind 1-0, did you think the game was over?
Yes.
I know I did.
I did. In
I
fact,
was sure of it. As soon as Toronto got that goal, as soon as Nylander scored, I'm like, that's it. That's it. They don't have enough time.
I was out.
That's it. It's over.
I was out watching that part of the game, and then during the second intermission, I was like, let's go home. Let's go home, and because I'll just and I was not completely focused, and then I saw them tie it, and then when they didn't win in regulation, I thought they were going to lose in overtime. But here's the deal: now that they've won the first round, because I listened to a lot of Toronto people yesterday. That was what I listened to in the car, is Toronto people, and They want to. They have to. The Marner's gone. They have to make decisions and move some pieces around. But, Billy talked about how tough their, fourth line was. Now they all played terribly. I guess that's what they're saying in Toronto. I didn't follow that as much as I should have.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we had other things to look at instead of focusing on the Maple Leafs' fourth line.
Yeah, well, I guess they hate the fourth line. And so I'm just telling you that they don't like anything. And so they liked Wall. But the thing is that now that they've won that first round, I got to think that. So my point was everyone from Toronto's like, and then the Bruins are just going to lose to Florida. Like, the Bruins won Game 7 just so they can go lose to Florida. And would I bet on the Bruins to win? I mean they're probably a long shot. I would bet on the Bruins to win the series but I don't think they're going to win. But I'll tell you this: I like their chances better of beating the Florida Panthers than I did when they were up 3-2 in the Toronto series, because I think that maybe there's a monkey off their back. There's certainly a monkey off Montgomery's back. He hadn't won a clinching game since he was in Dallas. He didn't win the last clinching game in Dallas. Like there's got to be a great sense of relief with that team. And I'll tell you this. I'm going to ask you guys, who do you think should start Game 1 in goal?
That's a big question. It should be Swayman.
See, I don't think so.
It should be Swayman. Look, he's earned the right to play Game 1. I understand all of the numbers. Linus Ullmark is fantastic against Florida. Was great against them this year. And in his career, I think he's 12-3-1 with a save percentage of almost .930. But after what you just saw from Jeremy Swayman, especially those last 3 games, where he single-handedly kept the Bruins in it where they should have lost all 3, you can't sit him down.
Okay, here's why I think you should play Ullmark. What do you think, Hardy?
I think you should go with Swayman.
Okay, I'll tell you why I think you should play Ullmark.
Right.
Short turnaround. If you're going to play Ullmark, you got to play him. I think if you're going to play Ullmark at all, you got to play him in Game 1.
Why can't you play him in Game 2?
Because every game that goes by that you're not playing, because then it sends it back into chaos. Because then you're saying if Swayman plays badly, you put him back in. I really do think, and I think they're gonna. I think that because there's such a short turnaround that there's if you do have 2 goalies, this is the game to play Ullmark. It's a bonus that he plays well against Florida. But you play him in Game 1. If he plays great, that's awesome. Congratulations. Swayman still plays Game 2. So but John, why? If you play Ullmark and he plays well, you go, okay, great. You played your game, then you play Swayman, and then you see what you do from there.
Swayman is the epitome of a hot goaltender. He is unbelievably good right now. Why wreck that?
Do you think it wrecks it if he gets a night off?
You sit him down, and then what if he comes back and doesn't play well in Game 2 because you sat him down?
But what if he plays? What if it's? I mean, the idea is that you give him some rest.
I disagree. You're playing every other night, every third night. I don't think the flight from Florida to. I understand it's like a 48-hour, 36-hour turnaround, but it's nothing different than the regular season.
Well, let's ask the man that I saw, not in person because I wasn't at the game, but I saw on television, skating around with his flag.
Oh, there he is.
And I was explaining to someone who he was. I said he's a teacher. Xanadu, congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. I'll get to the goalie situation in a second. First of all, I just want to put out there, I want to say thank you to all the doom and gloom people for staying home Saturday night, because that meant all we had on Causeway Street were people who believed this team was going to win. And yes, all of our reasoning was go Bees, and that was all we needed. And we were rewarded for our faith. For the Florida series, I'm going to build off that. Wasn't a Game 7 loss a foregone conclusion after they lost Games 5 and 6?
Yes.
Florida series, same way. You know what? Let's go out there. Let's do it. Goalies, best I got. You know what? I'm glad I'm not paid to make these decisions. I say you put Ullmark in or for either Game 1 or Game 2. You're paying him $4 million. Give Jeremy Swayman a rest. And at the very least, I don't know, ask Jeremy Swayman. It's not my job to figure that out, but I say put Ullmark in, get Swayman a rest whenever makes the most sense to goalie Bob, Jim, and everybody else.
And that is Xanadu, who I saw on television. He was on television. If you don't know Xanadu, whereas I forget was it Ryder? What jersey does he wear?
Yeah, Michael Ryder, 73.
Yeah, Michael Ryder jersey. He wears the glasses from Slapshot, and he just rollerblades around the entire city with the Bruins flag.
Sometimes with the shirt off, depending on the weather.
Ooh, I've never seen him with the shirt off.
I mean, watching Samsonov and what he did in Game 7, which I did a triple take when I saw he was in net.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Did it matter?
No, Wall couldn't have done any better than that.
And this is the thing you would never, ever say, Fred, so I'm not saying this. It probably doesn't matter. I don't think either Swayman or Ullmark are going to poop down their pants in a start either tonight or in Game 2. But Wallach's reasoning to start the whole thing is what I would say. This is what we talk about year after year after year. Teams that make it either to the very end or at least to the conference finals, how do they get there? Oftentimes they're riding a hot goaltender. And you don't switch off just because you had an overtime game and it was a quick turnaround. You don't. There's no need to. And it also kind of puts back on Montgomery some decision-making that I don't think he has to make. I don't think anyone is going to fault him if he goes with Swayman and Swayman is good enough. You don't expect him to go out there and pitch shutouts, but if he just plays like he's been playing, there's no reason to go to Ullmark other than the rest, and if you want to have his availability at some point in this series.
Yeah, and then but I just think that if you don't play Ullmark and Swayman struggles, and then you play Ullmark and you lose Game 2, you're really up the creek.
I don't think the extra he's sat now for a week? I don't think an extra 2 days is going to bother him.
No, but no. What I said is if you play Swayman in Game 1, he doesn't play well, and then you play Ullmark in Game 2 and you lose that game, then you're really up the creek because then you got a whole mess on your hands.
Well, you're done. That series is over.
Yeah, you play
that's what I'm
Ullmark
saying.
in Game 1 and he's lousy. Now you've lost Game 1 and you sat a hot goaltender.
Okay, but here's what Montgomery could do. Here's what I would do if I was Montgomery, and Lord knows I'm as close as possible to being in that position. I mean, I've been asked several times my opinion from the team.
Francesa was asked to coach.
Bill asked me, to come over there and put in coach to the lines, and I said, it's not enough money. That's actually something he said on several occasions. He said that he was asked to participate in the front office, but it wasn't enough money.
He's the best. I miss him already.
The thing is that if I was Montgomery, I'd go Ullmark is starting 1, Swayman starting 2, and then I'll tell you game day from then on. And then ultimately, you hope Ullmark plays well and you win. But if Ullmark plays well and you win or lose, you play Swayman in Game 2 no matter what. And if Swayman plays well, then you stick with Swayman.
Man, if he starts Ullmark in Game 1 and Ullmark is lights out like he has been against Florida all season. He started 3 games against Florida, allowed 2 goals or less in all 3. Suppose he goes out and does that again?
We'll bring this up again.
Down?
We'll bring this. Yes.
Oh.
Because you just. Okay, I will counter that argument there because I don't think that's a logical argument. You're saying to play Swayman because he's hot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, but then if Ullmark plays well, you're saying keep playing Ullmark. But you just said Swayman was playing well, so why wouldn't you play Swayman again? If you wanted to play him in Game 1, why not play him in Game 2?
You play the hot goaltender. I think you should start Swayman if Ullmark plays well against Florida, considering how well he's done in his career and how well he did against Florida during the regular season. He's hot against that team. You don't sit him down either.
He can't win for losing, Johnny. You're
why? Because I disagree with you?
Okay.
Oh, no, the two of you today are really something else.
No.
Yeah, because you disagree with me.
No, I didn't
There
say,
it is.
I didn't say that. I think it's lunacy, though.
Okay, that's fine.
No. To what Wallach said. So if they did decide to start Ullmark tomorrow night,
right,
and he plays well
tonight, yes,
or tonight, excuse me,
yes,
then you just play him the rest of the series.
No, you just play him again I'm not saying the rest.
And if he plays well again, then you play him again?
Just like you did against Toronto. You have Swayman playing well, you keep him in there.
So then you should play Allmark.
You keep him in there.
Then you should play Allmark because there's a chance you play him the whole series.
No, that's if you start Allmark in game one, which I disagree with.
I'm going to make this real consistent. Stick with Swayman for the rest of the postseason. That's it.
That makes more sense.
Fine.
That's it. That's all.
If that's your argument, fine. But then if the argument's the problem that if Allmark plays well, you never play Swayman again, then that doesn't. It doesn't. Think about it. It doesn't logically make sense. I'm not saying you're wrong about playing Swayman. That's how probably most people feel.
They forced your hand on this, Fred, by doing this rotation and abandoning the rotation 3 games into a 7-game series. Yep. After Swayman went in there, played well in game 3, they said, "Oh, we're sticking with him." And he was the guy for the rest of the series.
The right call to make. I think.
No, that was the
right call to make.
Well, what happened to the rotation? If they're both playing well, great. We'll just bing, bang, we'll go back and forth. Ding dong, hello, sir.
You ride with the hot goaltender.
All right.
They never said that. They said they were going to rotate, and they're full of it.
All right. Well, this is a good conversation. I'm glad you guys disagree with me, even though John's going nutty with the Allmark stuff. I not because you disagree with me, because of one of the reasons that you disagreed with me.
I just like seeing you wound up at 6:15 in the morning.
Well, I don't like it. I don't like.
That's why I did it.
Your logic is. I don't like your logic. All right, we will be back. We'll catch you up with everything that happened last night. The Brady roast was last night. I did not make it all the way through. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I admit it right now. I got bad information. They thankfully were allowed to talk about his divorce.
Well, you got bad information from. Was it one of the last roasters who said it, or you heard it from somebody else? I can't remember.
It was a rumor in the comedy world. It was like it was. Yeah, and it was one of the last. I don't know the last roaster, but he was inferring that they weren't going to allow to talk about it, and that jibed with something that I had heard about the roast. It wasn't like some like A-list comedian. I heard that might be off limits, and I was wrong, thankfully, because it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it wasn't great. But it was too long. But Hardy watched and cut it up. We'll have a couple breaks about that roast as well today. We will be back in just a moment.
Let's talk about that.
Please. I found that very interesting.
Hey, kids. Hope you're listening. And not yours, mine. Hey, we are Toucher and Artie. When was the last time I've done that? Never. That was the first time I ever talked to
I found that conversation very interesting.
Well, good, because it was interesting to me. Who's your Caddy Classic online auction? Live copy points.
Yeah. I can't wait. Get to it. Get to the part.
All right, we're back for the 13th Who's Your Caddy Classic, benefiting the Pediatric Advanced Care Team at Boston Children's Hospital. Obviously, great charity.
Right.
We're teeing off early with an online auction that goes live today at 10 a.m.
Right.
Visit 985thesportshub.com/caddy. You can bid on the following 3 items until May 13th. You and one guest can play with Hardy and myself.
All right. That should be fun. That should be fun.
We can be your designated drivers. You can play with one guest can play with Felger and Maz.
Felger, who could, but you know what? I gave up this game a long time ago. I'm just out here having fun. I've had that conversation with him.
He's playing again.
I know. Of course he's playing again.
Well, you know he belongs to the club.
Oh, I'm well aware.
Felger can play.
I know. I
absolutely play.
I remember having a conversation with him at Shining Rock where we used to have this thing, and Felger talked to me for about 10 minutes while we were waiting to tee off about, you know what, Johnny, this game's so frustrating. I just gave it up. You know, I don't play that much anymore. Steps up to the tee, like, pipes it 275 right down the middle, like, okay, sure you gave it up.
He quit playing because he couldn't putt. He had the yips. Seriously, it'd be rather be holding a live rattlesnake than a putter. He couldn't putt anymore.
Why didn't you get the big one, the belly, not the belly
I don't know what he
the
did.
tall
But
one
that's why he
back and forth like a metronome.
That's why he quit, but he's back.
All right.
Yeah, he, I saw him like a year. I haven't seen him in like a year, and it was like a year ago, and I saw him, and he's like, hey, you know, I joined this club. I'm like, oh, cool. And he's like, yeah, let's play sometime. And I'm like, you don't mean that. You can also get an autographed Rob Gronkowski football, which is, believe me, far better than most things that you get at those events. Regular foursomes for the tournament at Brook Meadow Country Club will go on sale. Is that where it was last year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's convenient. Brook Meadow Country Club will go on sale Tuesday, May 14th at 10 a.m. Thank you to Long Drink FootJoy PXG, the Seaport Hotel. Oh, I was right by there yesterday in the Alamo Draft House. I was right by the I went to Kendra's thing at that F1. Me and a couple of buddies. We went.
I saw a
Kendra's
video.
thing.
I saw a video of you in the simulator. She was videoing you while you were doing your thing.
Yeah, which is illegal. No, I'm just kidding. The Sarah CIVIAN, who writes about hockey, was there, and she will be on the show today to preview. She's an NHL person overall, so she will be on. I got business done there.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fred, the idea of playing with two strangers, how is that sitting with you? Because two people, you know, presumably one person said, hey, I'm going to bid on this and grab a buddy, and we're going to have a foursome. We're going to be out on the golf course for something approaching 5 hours together with Fred and Hardy on this day. How do you feel about this, Fred?
Honestly, if they're fans of the show that pay for it, then that's better than just being put with two random people.
Sure. Okay.
Or like uncomfortable people at the station. I'd much rather have someone who's actually like a fan of the show.
Okay.
Now, if it's two people that are bidding on it because they hate us, then, you know, my leg. I will pull a Rodney and Caddyshack.
Right.
Like, you know, my back fell out. But like, if they truly bid on it to be with the two of us to play golf with us and just hang out,
right?
Then of course I would like because they like me.
Well, what I'll say now, and the bidding goes on for how long? It starts today at 10 a.m. and goes through the 13th.
Yeah.
I will make this appeal early and often. What I would like is to have two people who really want to win this thing and take it real seriously and talk about the order of shots and who should be teeing off first on the par fours, who should be putting first. All these things that I admittedly, Fred, get into a little bit. I do enjoy that aspect of the scramble. I would like someone to bid on win this thing that's really into it, just to see at what point your head is going to explode.
John knows this story, but I was playing with someone one time at the old play when we used to play at One Far Away,
Shining Rock, yes.
and we were playing. It was Rich and I were twosome, and Rich doesn't really play, and we were playing with this other guy, and the guy goes like, we get to the tee box. It's like a par 5, like dog leg left, and he's like, all right, I'm the only one here who can make it around that dog leg, so I'm just going to groove it around that dog leg. Jesus. So he's like, I'm going to go driver, and he's like, you guys don't hit drivers. And we're like, all right, because lay up in the fairway, and he just pulls it right in the woods. I'm like, there's no way you're going to shape it around. Like, you're going to hit a 275-yard drive and shape it around the tree. Get out of here.
I want real hardos. I want real hardos doing this.
Well, they're going to, if they're real hardos, then they can win the tournament. Like you said, it's a scramble.
They don't need us.
They can play their bone, but we'll just play. And if they want to, they can say, Fred, you're messing up my rhythm, so you don't even have to play. And I'll go, fine. If you want to win and you're a scratch golfer, go play. You can't beat beers, but go ahead. Try.
I think what we'll end up with is the first thing, someone who just wants to go out there and have fun and hopefully not take it too seriously.
Well, you've played in that tournament where you believe someone cheated. I mean, everyone has. Like not with, you haven't played with someone, but when you come back and there's one score that's like 15 strokes lower than everyone else.
Usually one of the salespeople comes in with that. We finished 16 under.
They're like with a client, and you're like, okay, yeah,
sure you did. All right.
Like you beat everyone by like 15 strokes in a scramble.
I think there was somebody, and maybe they're going to be there again this year. And if that's the case, great, because they spend money every year to be in this tournament. But there was somebody, at least 1 or 2 years, they bought a foursome, but there were only 2 guys. And to me, this should not be allowed, where you got 2 guys who each take 2 shots.
Yeah.
So so okay, you've got a 15-foot putt, and you roll the putt, and it just just missed on the low side. Okay, you drop another ball in the exact same place and roll a second putt. Much better chance of that putt going in than someone else stepping up there and making the same.
Sure.
Putt.
Oh yeah, that's completely unfair.
Yeah, you hook your tee shot in the woods. Okay, I get another tee shot without it counting against me.
I thought you were going to say that they were just 2 guys and they just played the 2 of them. And then because like for pacing purposes, it was better because they were able to get into a better rhythm.
They each took 2 shots.
Oh no,
that's not right.
I wonder why they did that. So they paid all that money just to win the thing?
There was somebody who years ago when my kid's school did a cornhole fundraiser in West Roxbury. These 2 guys came down from Lowell, and they just trolled around the internet looking for cornhole fundraiser things where there's a cash prize. So they drove down from Lowell to West Roxbury on a Saturday night, hung around for 4 hours. It was like from 7 to 11, paid the $40 entry fee per guy so that they could win $200 total. Now, the idea of this being a school fundraiser, whoever wins it at the end of the night just gives the money back to the school. You know what? Leave me $20 so, pay for my beers for the night. These guys took the $200, said thank you very much, and left. So... Sure.
I mean, to win $160, so you made what? You
gas money from Lowell.
I'm just going to minus gas.
No, you made you netted $40 an hour.
Between the 2 of you, you can go out and get pizza. Good
oh
for
yeah,
you.
so you netted $20 an hour apiece.
And spent the night in a room full of strangers. They had no idea who anybody was. They were just parents of the kids from a school that was 30 miles away.
Newman and Kramer took the cans to Michigan.
Right.
It doesn't pan out. Well, I'm playing on Saturday. I'm playing on Friday with my father.
Okay.
Nice.
So
are they in town now?
No, they come tomorrow.
They're not staying with you.
Of course they are. Of course they're
I thought
staying
they
with
stay.
them.
Oh, they get a car.
Oh yeah,
but they stay with you.
No,
Yeah, because
they're
my mom has friends, because they grew up in New York, so they have friends around here. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's regional. Northeast. People move. And so, my dad went to Dartmouth and my mom went to St. Lawrence, so they definitely have friends around here. So they have to go to Rhode Island and stuff like that. All right.
Either one of them sleeping on that queen-size bed we moved up into the loft?
No, I have a guest room in the basement, a full guest room that they bought the bed for.
Oh.
They bought the bed, but that king-size bed.
Oh. Good for them. Still getting after it.
No. The king-size bed.
That wasn't.
Oh, what bed did they buy for themselves in the basement?
Oh, just like a
twin?
Yeah. They just love they spoon all night, my parents.
Oh, your king size bed, you finally slept in it.
Yes, I slept in it.
You
And
look
it
well
was-
rested. You look good.
Oh, it was a delight. I rolled around.
Nice.
I went on one side and played with myself. I went on the other side and played with myself. I went in the middle and played with myself.
That's hot.
A lot of room.
Yeah. I didn't even have to get rid of the iPad afterwards. I just put it next to me. I'm like, I won't roll over onto that.
It's big enough to where it won't bother you.
I could put a laptop on there if I really wanted to get after it. All right. Well, we just caught you up on everything that happened last night. All right. We will be back. We will go into all the action that was yesterday. There wasn't a lot yesterday.
Not a lot.
I'll tell you, there's some people that follow that F1. They were cheering and yelling at that F1 place.
I will admit, I did watch the beginning of that race.
But those races are only like an hour and a half.
But the funny part was, real quick, as soon as the race started, one car cut another car off. There was just screaming. Lots and lots of screaming by the guy calling the race. I'm like, this is just all too much, and I turned it off.
Yeah, there was a lot of people
A lot
there.
of yelling. Oh, he went left. Okay, isn't that the idea?
And
you go
saw,
left.
I saw the guy from the soccer game, from the Messi game.
Oh, the guy who covers the Celtics, that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got along with him. He behaved better.
Did you two patch things up?
I don't think there was anything to patch up. I just think that, he was...
Nice.
He came at me with a smile this time.
All right.
And I went, all right, you broke the ice. Now let Freddie charm you. All right. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Out at center ice, Pasternak bumps it back for Lindholm. He'll navigate to the red line.
He's got
Throws it into the right
Pasternak going.
corner. It's banked on in front. Pasternak, the backhand.
Beers, he saw it the whole time.
He scores!
Yeah, if you watch that replay, that bank's like insane. The way that they got it down and the way it bounced perfectly and the way Pasternak beat his man, that was great.
You know what's really insane is that that's not the first time that Pasternak has scored off a play like that. I saw a video where Torrey Krug did the same thing 4 years ago against Calgary, the exact same play, and Pasternak finished it. It's amazing.
He's got Pasternak going.
Yep, there you go.
And so I mean, did you guys when it went into overtime? Were you pretty resigned to that they were going to lose, or did you guys have faith?
Okay, so I meant to say this earlier when we were talking about the game the first time. I did not feel that they were going to lose when Toronto scored first, if only for the fact it was only a minute until the Bruins scored. So if I felt like that, it was very, very, very short-lived. Once they tied it up, I truly felt they had a chance. Going into overtime, now, I'm not saying I thought they were going to lose, but, you know, there's different feelings for different games. It's, you know, you go back to the Patriots, against Atlanta and Houston. Once that game went to overtime, you knew the Patriots were going to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
It didn't matter if they won the toss or not. It's like, that's it. Once they tied the game, you knew the Patriots were going to ultimately win that game. You know, certain basketball games, you know, once it goes into overtime, okay, Celtics are either going to lose this one or win this one. I was completely on the fence, but I only felt like they were going to flat out lose the game. I would say in the days leading up to it and right up and in that minute after Toronto scored, I'd be like, well, that's it. I thought they were going to lose. Now they're definitely going to lose. They tied it up a minute later, and I was back to, they showed me a little something, especially Hampus Lindholm. When Hampus Lindholm scored that goal, I thought, all right.
He fits the puck in a slot like a letter would fit through.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it just
all right.
They didn't like
box.
They didn't like that goal in
Hampus
Toronto. They
What's
did
that?
not like that goal in Toronto. They thought that was a cheap goal.
I would. What? Of all the people to score it, and of all,
he got the
perfect
assist.
placement over the shoulder.
Well,
I mean,
he got the assist on the Pasternak goal too. So,
Oh, yeah, he talked to Champ. How'd you do it?
Put the puck in the corner. Do you know what they actually do after that? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, I saw him swinging, so obviously it was
Oh, did you? You see him at the Red Rooster?
purpose that I was hoping is the kick out good for him there, and then the way he handles that puck and puts over the pad, that's his few guys that can do that.
I saw him next to the fishbowl with the keys, and I said, "Who are you taking home tonight?" So obviously everyone knows by now Montgomery had called out Pasternak after Game 6. He said Pasternak was in a great mood before the game, and then for everyone, we had a call on Friday saying that they had to get rid of Lindholm. And to which I said, listen, Lindholm hasn't been the best in the playoffs, but when they said you have to get rid of Lindholm, and what are you going to do? You're going to trade Lindholm for what? And who's going to play defense for you at that point?
Yeah.
Then you'll have McAvoy in a cast of who?
Lindholm is a great player to have during the regular season. It's going to get you into the postseason. And then as soon as the postseason starts, you need someone not like Hampus Lindholm on the ice. The fact that he scored the game-tying goal and set up Marchand for the game winner does a lot to make me feel better about him being out there. But still, he's just not he's not a postseason hockey player.
Well, all of this it just misspoke. It's Pasternak with the game winner, but
Lindholm set up Pasternak for the game winner.
Yeah. You said Marchand.
Oh. Sorry.
I'm just because someone in their car is going to go. Hey. So but the thing is that I'm hoping again. I like Boston in the Florida series now more than I liked Boston in the Toronto series when it was 3-2. Yes,
you got to explain that to me
because getting over the Schneid, Montgomery getting over the Schneid, because this would have been his. It was his. Now he's going to keep his job. Now Montgomery knows he's not getting fired. Montgomery lost his last clincher in possible clinching game in Dallas. He obviously lost the Game 7 last year. It was history repeating himself. He had to have been completely wound up. The team was completely tight. And I just don't think that – I don't think they're going to be nearly as tight in this series because they're not supposed to win. They don't have home ice. Lord knows they play better on the road. And and we'll get into the goalie thing later, but I don't think they're going to win the series, but I certainly don't think it's an impossibility, and I almost thought it was an impossibility they were going to win that Toronto series after Toronto won the way that they did in Game 6.
The Bruins
or 5.
The Bruins play this team very well during the regular season. They won all 4 games from the Panthers during the regular season. And I understand the postseason is different. But it's not. I don't think the Bruins are going to get trucked in this series. I think they're going to make it a series. This is going at least 6.
And remember, they were up 3-1 in that series last year. And also, do you get the impression that it's going to be as easy to push them around this year? Like,
no, having Maroon there is a game changer, I think. I mean, it's not a collection of...
Grizzly cannot play in this series.
No.
Grizzly cannot play in this series.
And you know what? Mason Lowry playing really well in Game 6 or 7 certainly helps there. You saw Montgomery mention Lowry by name after the game was over. That kid's going to get regular minutes in this series.
Peak, Forbert...
maybe Forbert can play at some point... But Lowry playing as well as he did.
I would play Lowry.
Yeah.
You know why?
Because
you got to take it easy. Lowry.
Take it easy. Like the Sunday morning slow ride. Dan O'Brien, rest in peace.
You remember when that took off when I started doing that during the regular season and everyone started doing it?
Started singing Lowry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
that. They were chanting it at the game on Saturday
Why
night.
do you think Maroon is such a game changer? You played 8.5 minutes.
It's the physicality. It's different. The game is different when he's out there. You saw it during the Toronto series.
He's not out there that much.
He's out there enough. I think he sets a tone. I do. I think you send him out there. I'm not saying he's going to play 15 minutes. He's not going to play in a penalty kill. He's not going to play in a power play. But Fred was talking about the Bruins getting pushed around. And Maroon out there, and he was acquired specifically for this purpose, increases the team's physicality and limits the ability of the other team to push the Bruins around.
As long as the physicality comes to him, because he's not getting anywhere on that ice where the physicality is happening. If it happens to be in his immediate vicinity,
You're saying he's not quick? You can't catch anybody?
That's the nice way.
Yeah, they showed something in the locker room, and they showed him it might have been Pasternak coming in the locker room after the game, after Game 7, and they showed Maroon, and you're like, wow, that is a big fella.
He's a big guy.
Like what Jack Edwards was saying was not entirely incorrect. I mean, he is a
large.
Like he looks like a dad at the pool, like with his shirt on, because he had a T-shirt on in the locker room. He looks like a dad at the pool.
Let's hear from Pasternak after his game winner.
Honestly, we talk about the other line. We want to win our matchups. It's hard to judge it right now without seeing it on the film, but I felt like we spent it more time in O-zone against our matchup than they did in our D-zone, which is part of it. I thought we had a good game.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Very good. Yes.
I think I'm going to go to the bocce ball golf tournament at the Woodland Country Club and get really drunk.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
What about last year, Brad Marchand? Played the Panthers last year. And you had a Game 7 in the first round last year. All these comparisons to last year.
At the end of the day, there's 7 games for a reason. I mean, teams that get into playoffs they all deserve to be there, and they all have a ton of pride. And when you get down in the series, you push. They pushed very hard. They did a great job getting back in the series, and
I can't handle that feedback on the microphone. Jesus, Jones. Somebody fix that, please.
Yeah, so tonight, 8 o'clock. Do we know why it's on at 8 o'clock?
That was 7.
8.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. What, does anyone know why it's 8 o'clock?
I do not.
Let me see what's going on tonight in the NHL. Just everyone hang on to their hats.
Yeah,
it's the only game. I don't know why it's coming on at 8.
Prime time, baby.
I guess.
Prime
I don't care.
time.
Whatever. It's at 8 o'clock. I mean, I can stay up till 10:30. But That is going to be it's going to be a situation. It is going. I like them better in this than I did after Game 5 in the Toronto series, but that means absolutely nothing. That means nothing.
And it will get the start in goal tonight. Well, presumably Jeremy Swayman. There's a lot of chatter out there about Allmark maybe going in net tonight. But in terms of Jeremy, your confidence going into overtime last night, how'd you manage that?
I think the biggest thing was just excited and enjoying the moment. And again, like I said earlier, just a pinch yourself moment that you're in Game 7 overtime at home. It's stuff that you dream of as a kid and that we could all get up for and be really excited about. But my mindset was just one shot at a time, doing my job.
All right, Bill.
Whatever works. Whatever works.
Anyway, all right, speaking of Bill Belichick, the big Brady roast was last night. We got some stuff from it. We will play that for you in case you missed it. Plus, Jim McBride's going to talk about what happened and his feeling on who should play goal tonight for the Bruins. That and so much more on the way on our wonderful, wonderful show. Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. Oh, Jesus, please subscribe. Could you just subscribe? It would just help us a ton with the algorithm. Hardy needed to get Nick to grab something, and young Nicholas, you got to catch him because he ain't in that room all show, I'll tell you that.
No, he was walking down the hall, and boy, was he moving.
Yeah,
huffing and a puffing.
He's in that room maybe a third of the show. And other than that, he's bopping around doing God knows what. I don't know what he's doing. He's taking a dump half the time. But other than that, he's bopping around. So if you want him to get him to do something like answer the phone or something, you gotta catch him. Because I asked Hardy if he had a clip, and he said but Nick has the ability to get it. I go, we ask him, and certainly, wouldn't you know it? As soon as Hardy went to go find Nick's walking. He's strolling down the hall.
Mm-hmm. I got him. He's getting it.
I wonder if there should be a rule that Nick can't leave that room during the show. Like if he leaves the room, he can only leave the room. That there's like a 5-minute, there's a 5-minute
just
thing.
During the commercial break.
I don't know about that though, because what if the phone rings?
No.
Oh.
Like he really
4.5, 5-minute window.
I'll ask you a question, Dan.
Okay.
How much of the show do you think you're out of that room, the production room?
Me?
Yeah.
If I have to go to the restroom, it's during a commercial break.
So just total 4-hour show. How long are you out of that room?
10 minutes total.
Okay, Hardy. When you did middays, how long were T-Bone and Milliken out of that room?
2 minutes total between the two of them.
Why does Nicholas have to be out of that room?
I don't know.
Why am I out of the room 10 minutes and they're only 2? What do they do?
I don't know. Maybe they're younger.
The T-Bone doesn't eat.
He doesn't like
go
to
to the
talk.
bathroom.
He doesn't like to socialize.
Yeah, he goes and refills his coffee, which is just black. That's all he does.
Is that right?
He drinks, 0-calorie black coffee,
I'm
like
not
3 of them a
surprised.
show.
Not surprised
And
at
it
all.
takes him 30 seconds each time, and
Yeah.
Milliken really never leaves.
Caffeine doesn't really seem to have an effect on him. And on his mood or just anything. No, the blood pressure doesn't have an effect at all.
I don't know.
T-Bone, when I was like, oh, hey, I appreciate that you were willing to come over to help with the bed, and he's like, yeah, I could have lifted it.
Could lift a smaller rock.
Yeah. But Nick's out of there, no lie, at least an hour and change of the show. He's out of there. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing videos, but I don't know what he's doing for videos because everyone else is doing something like that. I don't know.
We'll find out.
We will find out. Well, one day we'll
maybe
find
I'll
out.
interview him for the show.
Can we use this for the radio since you don't seem to be paying
You know what?
attention
Why
to it?
don't you interview him for the show?
That'd be
Figure out
great.
what he does
Where
during
are
the
you?
show.
Okay.
That would actually be a really good idea.
Okay.
Because I'd like to hear him answer those questions.
Okay.
All right. So last night, Netflix aired live the Tom Brady roast.
Yep.
A couple things off the top. I was given bad information, and we'll find out what that was. And also, it was too long.
It was way too long. It was supposed to be 2.5 hours. It went closer to 3. And my feeling was, and your feeling was, Fred, that a live roast where you're going to have all these comedians, and a lot of them are going to be repeating the same jokes without the benefit of editing, and really taking care of some of these people and doing them a service by cutting out their stuff that didn't land and didn't work. That as a whole, the show is going to suck as a result of it. And in the first 20 seconds, the way they decided to open this thing with a pre-produced opening, boy, oh boy, did it look like this thing was going to suck.
This is a big night. The fans want you. Everyone wants you. But it's not your night. Sorry, Drew. Brady.
Yeah, Coach.
You're in. Let's go.
Let's go. Are you f***ing kidding me? Again?
I saw that open with Belichick, Brady, and Bledsoe, and I thought, this is going to be so hokey, corny, bad.
Comedians wrote that skit, by the way. It wasn't like Bledsoe, Belichick, and Brady got into a room and wrote that.
Where else are they supposed to go with those three? I mean, what could they have possibly written that would have been funny?
You're
with
not a
those three?
comedian. What possibly could they have written? Give me 24 hours, and I could come up with literally 100 concepts better than that, John. Well, first of all, there was no law Bledsoe had to be in it. There was no law that Belichick had to be in it. The only person that had to be in it was Brady. What could they have done with those three? Then don't put those three in it.
Good point.
Then don't make that the skit.
Yeah.
Good point.
I mean, that's an unfair question. What else were you supposed to do with those three? I don't know. Use anyone else. Use anyone else. Have them come out of a divorce court. Have them have them come out of a bathroom with Guerrero. There's
have
a bunch
Eli
of
Manning dressed up as a dominatrix. Something. Anything.
Yeah, have David Tyree in it. If you want to make it about football, do something like that.
The dominatrix idea would have been interesting. Then you would have looked at it and go, okay, we're on our way to something here.
Okay, here's one off the top of my head. Remember Trading Places when Eddie Murphy's first introduced into the film? Have Belichick like Betty Murphy on a skateboard saying,
Funny.
I have no legs,
Funny.
with need money to sign. There you go. That's funnier. Thank you.
They went with that. Kevin Hart came out. He made the same joke 2 or 3 times, and I was ready to tap out 4 minutes in because he said, we're here to roast the greatest quarterback of all time, Joe Montana. Oh, no, it's not. No, see, ha, ha, ha. Joe Montana's the greatest. I said, it can't be 2.5 hours of this. It was not, because very, very early on, after the Joe Montana joke, Kevin Hart got into his opening set as the host of the night, and he dropped this one.
Giselle said, you retire or we're done. That's what she said to you, Tom. You retire or we're done. Let me tell you something. When you got a chance to go 8 and 9 and all it will cost you is your wife and your kids, you got to do what the you got to do. Do you understand me?
So the first divorce joke came pretty early on in the night.
Yeah, I had got running information. I had heard that they were not allowed to talk about the divorce, which makes sense, I guess, that they were. So there were, thankfully, a lot of divorce jokes, a lot of them funny, and a lot of them you could tell were bothering Brady.
I think this one bothered Brady.
Giselle is actually here supporting you tonight, but just for full transparency, she came as Antonio Brown's +1. How does that? What?
Yeah, Kevin Hart is in scramble mode after the Cat Williams stuff, so he's got to throw. It's just so funny because I think something's about to come out, and it's just I don't know what it is or what's happening, but it's just there's a lot of noise, and so I couldn't help it every time I saw Kevin Hart going in the back of his head. He knows this is all about to be over.
Do you want to jump ahead to Andrew Schultz, who made the only reference to that all night long?
Yes, please. Andrew Schultz.
The man in the arena, the GOAT. Tom, I know Bill Belichick showed up late, but don't worry. I'm sure he has someone secretly recording this so we can watch the whole thing later, okay? Bill is secretly filmed more guys playing for the other team than Diddy. That's your boy, Kev. A lot of tight ends turn wide receivers, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you pulled that.
And no, I was waiting for the camera cut to Kevin Hart. They did not cut to Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I guarantee you that he did not like that because because if you don't know, like a lot of this stuff was being talked about. Like you could just go to complex.com and read it. It's all there. It's being covered like the Kennedy assassination. They got everyone talking about it. I wonder if Kendrick Lamar and Drake have been paid to kind of do something on the side because they've been dissing each other. Were you aware of that, John?
No.
Kendrick Lamar. Did you know that, Nicholas? You're a youngster. You know you didn't know.
Nicholas?
Kendrick Lamar released a diss track. Drake released a diss track, and then like an hour after Drake released a diss track, Kendrick Lamar released a diss track, and it was like 6 different things, like 6 different parts of the song, 2 of which addressing 2 of his children. Then very scathing.
Oh. Interesting choice to put Jeff Ross up, and I don't remember the last time I watched a roast. Jeff Ross, is he normally the host? Is he the guy that hosts, or is he just the guy who comes on last?
It depends. For a while he was hosting, but he generally would be the last guy. But then I heard, Because they usually tape them and edit them down. Like if they would have taped the one last night, they probably would have made it 2 hours. They would have cut an hour out of it, which would have helped a lot of people.
Yes.
We'll play it later, but they would have, I think, cut out Kreischer and Segura altogether because they're not funny at all. Either of them, they're not. They're not good comics. And I have friends who like them, and you can swear up and down that they are. They're not. And I knew they were going to suck last night. Bert Kreischer's not even a comedian.
Well, I Kreischer's comedy, I don't quite understand the idea of somebody laughing at their own jokes all night, which he was doing. Segura, I've heard his stand-up. I've never watched him. I've heard it, and I think he's funny, but they put the two of them up there together to try and do this really ill-advised audio-visual thing. It did not work. It didn't land.
Well, Cat Williams was the guy who said, Joe Rogan is responsible for putting 5 terrible stand-ups into arenas.
Mm-hmm.
So Cat Williams, again, a soothsayer. All right, go ahead.
But Jeff Ross went on first. He was the first guy up there after Kevin Hart.
Tom looks like he bleaches his hole just in case.
Great line. I thought, okay, now there's a lot of homophobic jokes directed toward Tom Brady. A lot of accusations like that. This one, Brady didn't seem to mind that one. This one, he absolutely minded.
That scrawny rookie famously walked into the owner Robert Kraft's office and said, "I'm the best decision your organization has ever made. Would you like a massage?"
Brady got up at that point, and you can't hear it. Other people have transcribed it and said, "Don't do that again. I love that man." I'm like, okay, all right.
Was that the only Kraft massage joke?
That's the only one I remember of the whole night. So
maybe they were told not to do that.
But your favorite Jeff Ross moment of the night, Fred?
Oh, I thought, okay, this one I thought was great. This one took balls, and I'll give Jeff Ross a lot of credit for this one.
And if I ever have a son, I want him to be smart, strong, and driven, just like you, Tom. Which is why tonight at the after party, I'm going to try to your sister. Julie, you're my #1 draft pick. Let's go! I love you guys.
He dropped the mic on that one. That was the last one.
I thought that one, and Brady, and they did show Brady's face in that.
Yeah.
And the thing I liked about that is like the 2 or 3 real mean ones, like about him, like I'm gonna bang your sister. Is that how many times do you think in Tom Brady's life, like in the last, not when he was a rookie or not even like his first couple Super Bowls, but let's say over the last, 15 years, that anyone said anything like that to him? Like anyone has like said anything like, "I want to bang your sister." By the way, have you guys ever hooked up with one of your friend's sisters?
Yeah.
So have I.
Yeah.
Is there anything more glorious in the world than when you've hooked up with one of your friend's sisters and they start to like make fun of you and then you just there's nothing they can do?
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced that?
Okay, hold on a sec. When they start to make fun of you, who's they?
The person whose sister you hooked up with.
Okay.
So you have a friend who it's your friend.
Yes.
All right,
yes,
so I have one
yes.
friend. I used to say his name on here, but I won't do it anymore. But I have a friend from college that was really loud and funny and would make fun of people a lot. One weekend, his sister visited the college. She was good looking. And for some whatever miracles, I hooked up with her a couple times. And so this guy would start going, rah, 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 and start ranting and going like, Fred, blah, 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 blah. And I would patiently sit there and I would listen to him.
No.
And I would go, "It's so funny that you say that because when I was banging your sister, she said something very similar, only it was more complimentary because she was enjoying me banging her." So there's a special place in my heart. It's the only friend of mine whose sister I've slept with, and it was just glorious. And then fast forward 20 years later, I'm in town with my family, and we see I'm in this town where he lives with and my family's with me, and we're out to lunch, and he says something out of line, and I'm like, "Remember when I banged your sister?" And I said it in front of my wife at the time and my kids.
See, I don't know why that thought didn't occur to me to ever say that to my friend.
And
but
every time
I still talk to him, so I could.
In credit to my friend, though, every time I did it, his face would turn bright red, and he'd go, "Damn it!" and he like had to concede that there was nothing he could do anymore. All right. Nikki Glaser, by the way, looked fantastic. She was always good looking, but boy,
she lost a lot of weight, and then she went out and got absolutely killed last night.
Yeah, she was fantastic. We'll play that for you. Plus, I told you Segura and Kreischer were terrible. I got a ton of emails about how bad they were, and we'll have some more from that roast, which was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And Bledsoe, one prediction I made did absolutely come true. Bledsoe can't go 2 seconds without plugging that dumb line in.
Oh, God.
He came up with the wine in his hand, and he can't plug it enough. I can't imagine anyone's bought that. But he plugs the wine.
He took about, how long was he up there for? 5 minutes? It took him about 90 seconds.
Oh, yeah, and he plugged it more than once.
90 seconds.
Because he told the comedians, write jokes around my wine.
Yes.
Ay, ay, ay. And how many people do you think watching that know who Drew Bledsoe is, in all honesty?
Half?
Yeah, maybe.
Half.
But that's high end.
Well, there
right?
were a lot of Patriots fans, sports fans watching, so I would say about half.
Yeah, I'd say I don't think that's a ridiculous statement. I'd say it's more like a third. Yeah. But you could make an argument it's even less than that. But maybe half.
Which doesn't speak to anything other than how old we are and how long ago Bledsoe played. I mean, we're talking about, almost 25, 30 years ago now.
Well, plus
that's a long time.
Who remembers Drew Bledsoe? Like, he never did anything. Like, he went to the Super Bowl, but he lost. I mean, it's not like Bledsoe did anything. You know what I'm saying? It's not like of all the quarterbacks who've played since then. Like, it's not like you'd remember him. I mean, we had Mark Rippon, matinee idol. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. We'll be joined by Jim McBride. Sorry, I wrote McBride. Talk about the Bruins. We're going to talk an awful lot about the Bruins today because it's time to get excited a little bit. Toucher and Hardy, I had forgotten how much I care about the Bruins. That's the funny thing about sports is that you can like kind of get yourself into a place where you're, half paying attention, and then I'll give you. I'm going to change it a little bit. Have you ever like tried to root for another team? Like
Yes.
made a conscious decision to root for another team?
Yes, I have tried that.
And then
it doesn't take.
And then no matter what happens,
No
like
matter
something
what.
you kick back. I'll give you an example. Well, I don't want to because everyone will say that's all the only team I talk about. But I won't give an example. But that's the thing with the Bruins is that I thought obviously after they had lost Game 5, I'm like, here we go again. And they not only they lost Game 5, but they played so terribly in Game 5. I thought there was no way. But whatever, let's see Game 6. And then when they lost Game 6, no one thought they were going to win Game 7. And the idea that they did, now, in my opinion, Montgomery keeps his job. So that weight's off his shoulders. The weight's off the team's shoulders in terms of repeating history. And now they go on the road to Florida and a team that they're not against a team they're not favored to win the series. And so I like their chances in this series more than I personally like their chances going into Game 6 against Toronto. Jim McBride covers the Bruins for the Boston Globe. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Mr. McBride, hello, sir.
Good morning, guys. Not too many mornings I wake up feeling better than Tom Brady, but this is it.
Yeah.
Oh, because he really had the screws put to him last night, huh?
He did. It was he didn't handle that as well as he handled the media when he was dealing with us. But
well, put it this way: out of all the highlights we're going to play from that roast last night, we're going to do Tom Brady the ultimate favor and not play any of him speaking because everything they said about him during that roast last night. Jim, you covered him for years. Like he seemed at times to be somewhat normal. He really can't get up there and like deliver a speech or be like off the cuff, like funny. It was
so. This fall should be a cakewalk for him when he's on national TV for Fox.
He's gonna be terrible.
Let me tell you, anyone who thought he might be like okay at watching him trying to, and maybe it was because it was all scripted, but I mean, Gronkowski was infinitely better at that last night than Tom Brady was. I mean, I was shocked at his portion of it, but whatever.
I would take Peyton Manning in that battle any day.
Oh, well, Manning's like an actual talent. Like Manning hosts Saturday Night Live. It was legit funny.
Yeah.
Not funny for an athlete, funny.
Yeah.
When do you think Jim McBride, who covered the Patriots for so long, the last time someone informed Tom they wanted to bang his sister?
More than once.
Oh, boy.
All right, you don't have to answer. All right, you still work for the Globe. I won't make
Check, please.
Yes, all right, very good. All right, so here we are going into this series against Florida. Let's start with the. I guess we had a debate about this earlier in the show. If it's up to you, I want your opinion on who should start in goal in Game 1 and what you think's going to happen in Game 1 in terms of the goaltending.
Yeah, I think Lena should get the start tonight. Just to give Jeremy a break. Physically, that was a pretty demanding series. He's never really had to go through a stretch like that in his career because he's basically always split that net with Lena. So I don't think you want Lena sitting for that long. This isn't some average backup. This is the guy that won the Vezina last year. Very good goalie. I think I would get Linus in there just to get him some work. And I don't think that's going to happen. But
you don't, because I agree with you. You don't think that's going to happen. I agree that Linus should play. He's been very successful against Miami. Like you said, there's a short turnaround. Swayman's playing a lot. And just real quick, and then I'll get to why you don't think he's going to play. Also, if you don't play Olmark now, then it raises the whole controversy again. What I think should happen is I think Montgomery should say Olmark's playing 1, Swayman's playing 2, and then we'll decide from there. Go ahead. Why don't you think he's going to play tonight?
Yeah, and Don Sweeney talking yesterday when asked about it, he said, we're going to check with Jeremy in the morning and see how he feels, see what the doctors say about putting him through that series and then starting him again. So that made me feel like if you ask Jeremy, he's going to say, I want that net. So that's why I think he's probably going to get the net. But I just think you don't want Linus coming in cold if Jeremy has a bad game. You want him preparing like he always did during the season when he knew the net was his that night. And I just think that's the smart way to go if you, want to keep up that rotation.
All right, but the rotation's done. They abandoned the rotation after Game 3. So if you can tell me at any point in that series when Swayman played poorly and say, okay, let's go back to Ullmark to see if he plays better, fine, I would consider it. But I can't think of a stretch other than when he went behind the net and kind of misplayed a puck there Saturday night. That was really the only gaffe I think I've seen him make in all the games that he's played.
No, he's been terrific. No question. I just think, they've also said, they had that rotation, but they've also said it was performance based. So that's why the rotation kind of went out the window when Jeremy played so well in games 1 and 3 of the last series. But, they said all year long, this is the strength of our team and we're not going to, go away from it. They did go away from it, but now it seems like the perfect opportunity to go back to it because, like I said, Linus is a really good player. And if you had a couple of days off in between series, I could say, get him healthy. Not get him healthy because he's not injured, but it was a tiring series. So I just think this is the perfect opportunity to use some more of the strength of that team that they talked about all year.
Jeremy Swayman is the epitome of a hot goaltender, and I realize that physically this might be taxing on him, but it's not like he's 35; he's 25.
Right.
So I don't see a problem with sticking him back in there. You have one of the best goaltenders in the entire NHL playoffs playing for you, and you're going to sit him down? I understand you have a Vezina Trophy winner sitting there waiting to come in, but I can't see how you would risk taking the momentum away. Linus hasn't played in a week. Put this guy in.
Well, they lost 2 of the last 3 games, so the momentum is, and I know they weren't Swayman's fault, but it's not like they swept the Maple Leafs and they're like, riding this winning streak.
He's been outstanding.
I know, but when you say you ride the momentum
of the hot goalie, not necessarily the team, but the hot goalie.
Okay, but Jim, I'll ask you, when someone says like we're riding the momentum, doesn't that sound better if you've won at least 2 of 3 than lost 2 of 3?
Yeah, absolutely. And, as John points out, it certainly wasn't Jeremy's fault that they lost 2 of 3. But
yeah, of course.
I just think it's the perfect opportunity to use that strength of your team. Linus is a very good goalie. They do have confidence playing against him. He's had, and I know he had trouble in the playoffs last year against the Panthers, but he's been successful against the Panthers this year. So, I just think if you're gonna use everybody on your roster, this is a good time. Why wait till Jeremy has a bad period and then bring Linus in cold? Let him go through his routine that he normally does, and then give the net back to Swayman on Wednesday if he doesn't have a great game.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Let's go. So if you think if Ullmark has a great game tonight, that they should ride him in game 2?
No.
I would probably go back to Jeremy. Unless,
okay.
He has a 35 save shutout, and it's just otherworldly. Then that decision becomes a lot harder. But I'd give the net to Linus tonight and give it back to Jeremy on Wednesday.
Just finally on this matter, would it be a disadvantage to the team or in aid Florida in any way strategically if Montgomery just came out and said, Ullmark's playing tonight, Swayman's playing on Wednesday, and then we'll make our decisions from then on? Would that be like a bad chess playing?
No, I don't think so, because these guys have, the Panthers have faced both of these guys, multiple times in the past. They scout both of these guys. They know their tendencies. So, I don't think it provides any kind of advantage. It's not like a football scheme where you can change things up. They know who they are. So strategically, I don't see the advantage. They keep the information so close to the vest that maybe there's something there that I don't know about. But I think you're open all season about it, and then the playoffs comes and the doors start to get closed. So maybe it's superstition, but schematically or strategically, I don't think there's an advantage to not telling everyone who's playing in net that night.
Okay, about Florida. The Bruins have been fine against them this season, but they are a heavy team. They play physically. And if they are able to find another gear, does that worry you? Because it does worry me, the way the Bruins are constructed right now and how they might be able to handle a next level of physicality from the Panthers.
Yeah, I think, they're a tough team to play against. And I think Pat Maroon has helped in that department a lot. I would think that either, maybe Andrew Peeke gets back in, maybe Derek Forbort gets back in. I know both of them are close. You might need another physical, hard to play against defenseman when you're playing against this Florida team, particularly Matthew Tkachuk. He kind of sets the tone for them. You need a guy to lean on him, and you're going to need depth on the back line. And I think Forbort and Peeke are such physical defenders. I would like to see them back in the lineup tonight if they're, anywhere above 95%.
Jim, this is a small thing, but it's something that caught my eye yesterday. The Bruins called up Patrick Brown from Providence on an emergency basis. He's a forward, and usually you don't do that unless you have an injury concern with someone in your lineup. Is there an injury there we're not aware of?
I mean, not that we're not aware of, but Dan Heinen didn't play in Game 7. He's been kind of limited. I don't think the Greg Brown call up is like he's going to imminently be in the lineup unless there's like a flu bug or something going on. But rosters open up in the playoffs. You don't have to deal with the salary cap during the NHL playoffs. So I think he's just an extra body at this point. But unless something happened in Game 7 that we're not aware of, but. We haven't seen the team or talked to the players since that night. So, we're going to be at morning skate in a couple hours. So probably have a better grasp on it then. But I think Greg Brown's just kind of another body.
All right. So Florida, ended up pushing the Bruins around in that 7-game series last year. Are the Bruins better suited to combat that this year than they were last year?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're I think that series really took them by surprise last year. They had that 3-1 lead, and I think they got comfortable. And I don't think you'll see them get comfortable like that again. I think they'll be more physical than they were last year, and they'll just be a harder team to play against, which you have to against Florida. The Lightning learned that pretty quickly. I thought the Lightning would win that series this year. And Florida took care of them pretty well. So I don't think there'll be any surprises this year heading into that tournament, heading into that series.
Is Grizzly going to see the ice unless there's injuries?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I think we've probably seen the last of Matt this season, unless you say there's a couple of injuries. And I still think, as I mentioned earlier, I think Forbort or Peeke gets in there ahead of Shattenkirk to at least start this series.
Yeah.
And I think the development of Mason Lohrei being able to run that second power play allows Montgomery the casualty of being able to put him in.
You know what Fred says about Lohrei? Take it easy.
Isn't that funny? How I do that, Jim?
Lohrei, take it easy.
Not bad.
Jim, that sounds like a courtesy laugh, and I'll take it every day of the week. Thank you for your kindness.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you notice how they were chanting that Game 7? No, it didn't take off.
I didn't hear that one. No.
Well, what are you going to do? All right, Jim McBride, read him in the Boston Globe. Enjoy tonight's game, Jim. It's house money at this point as far as I'm concerned. I thought that last series was over. So here we go.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we appreciate it. There we go. Jim McBride as the Bruins head into Game 1 tonight against Florida. House money.
Did you know that they had to reschedule a Tim McGraw concert at the Garden because of this series?
Well, that's their own fault. That's the McGraw people's fault.
I don't know when he was supposed to play. Maybe on Friday, but now Friday is going to be at the Garden, so Tim McGraw is going to play Wednesday night at the Garden.
Is he the guy that's like? Is he the dude that's like super like muscular? Tim McGraw, like he got himself all muscular.
Are you thinking Kenny Chesney?
No, Chesney just steals from Jimmy Buffett. He's just sore from stealing Buffett's whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because Jimmy Buffett was the country artist as well.
The show was originally scheduled for Friday. Instead, the Bruins and Panthers take the ice. McGraw's show moved to Wednesday as a result. Tickets will be honored. Refunds will be available where tickets were purchased, which I would say I feel bad for anyone who was going to go to a Friday night concert. You're going to make a whole thing of it, really kick off your weekend. Now you got to go in the middle of the week on a Wednesday, but you're going to a Tim McGraw concert, so you deserve some misfortune.
John just wants to go see Tug McGraw.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he wants.
Yep.
Yeah. He just wants to hang out with him. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. And we'll have plenty more on the Bruins, plus a little bit more from the Brady Roast, all on the way. Danny, in one moment. But first, I want to go to Patrick. Patrick, go ahead, sir. Patrick! Oh, Patrick.
Pat.
Patrick.
Pat. Pam.
All right.
That's a shame.
Pam.
It's the Who's Your Caddy Classic. It's like Who's Your Daddy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's Who's Your Caddy. And I
Right.
think that might have been a name of a movie already. Anyway.
Feels like a Cedric the Entertainer vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're never going to rip off Cedric the Entertainer, who are you going to rip off? I mean, all the original ideas are gone.
2007 film.
Yeah, it's a good name. We're back for the 13th annual Who's Your Caddy Classic, benefiting the Pediatric Advanced Care Team at Boston's Children's Hospital. We're teeing off early with an online auction today at 10 a.m. Visit 985thesportshub.com/caddy. You can bid on the following 3 items until May 13th. One guest and yourself can play with Hardy and I. You'll notice John bagged out. They were like, John, will you play with someone? And he said, no. He goes, I want to play with Lockhart, Nick, and Dan.
Yeah. It's a nice foursome we got there.
I know it's a nice foursome, but I mean, you basically, you know what you said? You said to Boston Children's Hospital, go screw. JON at 985thesportshub.com.
See, someone's going to take that seriously.
Oh,
and I'm going to be in big trouble.
You're underestimating the audience.
Okay.
No one's going to take that seriously, John.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you help the kids?
You know, I sometimes, sometimes I give them money not even associated with this tournament, John. To you. All right, so you can bid on us playing with me and Hardy.
Sometimes Fred will just stop by the ward and hand out $20 bills.
He's making it rain?
Go room to room.
He's making it rain in the ward?
No, he doesn't even donate to the hospital. He just puts folded up 20s and he tucks them underneath the pillows of the kids when they're laying in their bed.
Fred just tosses 20s into rooms.
No, he's flamboyant about it.
One time I did go to, and I'm not saying this because I went, I'm saying it as it's almost an insult to myself. I went to the Tufts Floating Hospital for Children before the Shaving Your Head event that we did, and I went with Sean Thornton. And were those kids excited to see me?
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
What a thrill.
They're like, Sean Thornton's here. You know him from the Boston Bruins, and he brought you a jersey, and here's a guy on the radio. And like occasionally, like one of like the parents that were in the room would be like, "Oh, hi, it's nice to meet you," and I knew that it was not nice to meet you.
Right.
Is that consistently the worst thing that someone does to you? And I'm sure we all have a friend or somebody who has done it, that does it more than once. When you're out with people or you're at a restaurant and stuff, hey, do you know who this is?
Yes.
And they will introduce you like that. And I said, would you play? And I stopped them in their tracks. I said, he doesn't know and he doesn't care. Will you shut up?
I just
don't
think
do that.
The thing I think is funny that happens all the time from people that like I sort of know. It's not just from people I've never met. Is they'll go, I don't listen to you very much, or I'm not in the car a lot.
Yeah.
Like I don't really listen.
I had a guy say that to me on Saturday.
Yeah, because it happens constantly.
Yeah.
And it's like were they at one of your children's events? Or was it at like the golf club? Was it someone you kind of know?
Yeah, it was somebody. Oh, it was somebody that I kind of know. It was at a party. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always something someone you kind of know. They go, I don't listen very often. Or
I'm not
like,
really a sports fan.
Yeah, but you're like, why? Like, why would you say that?
They tell you actively that they choose something else to listen to when you are out.
Yeah, like it's just like oh yeah, I use lawyers all like you're talking to a lawyer. Like I use lawyers all the time. I wouldn't use you. But I do know that you're a lawyer.
Right.
Like, it's like, why don't you just say, don't say anything?
Don't say nothing.
Don't say anything.
I hate defense attorneys, but it's really nice to meet you.
Because what it obviously is such like a self-defensive mechanism by the person. Like they're saying that to like, you're not so great.
Exactly.
As if we were sitting there thinking we were great because we're on the dumb radio. Like that's like, it's not a movie star. Like we're not, everywhere we go, we're not surrounded by screaming female fans. Like, believe me, it's okay.
Well,
just don't say anything. It's fine.
And if you feel like that somehow we need to be taken down a peg or two, trust me. And I say this all the time. I get humiliated and embarrassed and have enough self-loathing on a given day to fill me up for the week. So I don't need a little extra jab when I'm just trying to watch a horse race on a Saturday and eat some.
Oh yeah, you had to go.
How was the dress-up party?
Was the guy
that
dressed
fun?
up that said that to you? Was he all dolled up in his little clothes?
I was. There were probably 60 people there. I was one of 3 that did not get dressed up. So yes, this guy was dressed up.
Because you have to dress up to go watch the Kentucky Derby in Canton.
At a house across the street from where you live. I have to. That's what bothers me the most. I see these people every day. We hang out with them all the time. They're dear friends. For this thing, I have to put on a special costume to go over to your house. No.
Now,
No.
sometimes a themed party, if themed in a fun, unique way, can actually make the party a lot more fun. I had one which I don't think I could talk about on the air anymore, but because of the rules nowadays. But I'll tell you off air, it wasn't anything sexual, but it was.
Blackface.
No, it wasn't. I can tell you, it was not blackface.
Will you please give me the photos of you in blackface? I swear I won't share them.
I can tell you, I've never put on blackface, even when it was okay.
Out of all the horrible things that you and I have done in our lives, we share that in common.
Yeah, but what's funny is that when I'll meet someone and they'll kind of become a part of my life a little bit, and then they'll either check out the show on YouTube or read the Instagram comments, and they're like, "Wow, what's the deal with all that?" And I'm like, "Oh, people hate me."
What was the dress-up thing that you can't say? Would you dress up as?
Okay. I'll tell you this. It wasn't. It was. You didn't dress up as anything. It was a pink party. It was a pink party. And then I can be more specific off the air. But it lended itself to mischief.
Okay.
Anyway, so you can bet on playing with Felger and Maz. You can get an autographed Rob Gronkowski football, which is better than that Revolution trash they usually have. Regular foursomes for the tournament at Brook Meadow Country Club will go on sale
You know
Tuesday,
what?
May 14th.
You did a wonderful job of auctioning off that autographed Revolution soccer ball last year, maybe even the year before. And the person who owns it, I'm sure, has it proudly displayed in their home right now. So
Yeah.
what are you saying?
Hardy thinks it was one of the most embarrassing things he's ever seen. I autographed off a Revolution signed soccer ball. I think Hardy called me up to auction it off.
Why do you think I did that? Let's get weird.
So I trashed the Revolution, and wouldn't you know, the head of PR for the Revolution was standing right there.
right there,
And you would go, "Who cares? The head of PR for the Revolution." Well, he also works for the Patriots.
Right.
Thank you to Long Drink, Footjoy, PXG, the Seaport Hotel. I was right by there yesterday. How about that? I was in the Seaport like an adult. In the Alamo Draft House. And actually, I met Sarah CIVIAN at the Seaport, and she's going to be on the show today, so I should be able to write off the lift.
Look
that I
at
took
you,
there.
TCB, taking care of business right there.
I'm a fan of hers, and I saw her, and I said, here we go.
Very
Can you
good
come
writer.
on the show.
Yeah.
All right.
Very quickly, the auction that starts at 10 a.m., do you feel like you and I should want to get more bid on us than what is going to be bid to play with Felger and Maz? Should we feel like a competition there?
Now that you mention it, I could will myself to get narcissistic about that.
Good. Okay. I just want to get you.
Does that mean you're going to have to throw extra things in? That kind of stuff?
Because I knew when they used to bid on the head shaving thing or the ping pong thing, I knew that it would bother a certain someone if I got more money than him. And I always did, and that always gave me such a nice little feeling. Because he couldn't have, John will get this, he couldn't have, quote-unquote, cared less. But, John, did he care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
A lot.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back. The Brady roast was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was too long, and I was completely wrong. I got bad information. It wasn't an opinion, so I wasn't wrong. But I had gotten bad information. They did talk about the divorce, thankfully. But, did some people tank? And one young lady killed. We'll have that for you. Plus, audio from Toronto. And like I said, Sarah CIVIAN will join the show. Big couple hours coming up.
More.
Toucher, and Hardy. Why don't you play the Hardy, the beginning of the with Belichick and Bledsoe of the roast, if you have it. The Tom Brady roast was live on Netflix yesterday. It was hosted by Kevin Hart. And I'll tell you this, is that it went long. They're usually 3 hours long, and they edit it down to 44 minutes or like an hour and 20 if they want to go 90 minutes with the thing on TV. You knew it was going to be overtime. It was supposed to be 2.5 hours long. It went 3 hours. Some of it was better than I expected. Some of it was as bad as I expected. I had heard that they would not allow them to talk about the divorce. That I learned that was false right away, as they did. Fortunately, good for everyone that they did. But Hardy, did you have how they opened it?
This is a big night. The fans want you. Everyone wants you. But it's not your night. Sorry, Drew. Brady.
Yeah, Coach.
You're in. Let's go.
Let's go. Are you f***ing kidding me? Again?
Thought we were in for a real
And then John had made the point when we first played it, like, well, what else were we going to do with the three of them? And I said, well, why have the three of them?
Right. That's a better point. They
Yeah,
shouldn't have done that at all.
There was no law. Drew Bledsoe has to be in your opening segment. And by the way, comedians wrote that. So you can't even put that on Bledsoe, Belichick, or Brady. And what we did learn from this roast, Hardy made the executive decision, the correct one, not to play Brady so we don't have to hear it again. And you just heard Belichick try to act in that. Atrocious on television. They're going to be atrocious on television.
I will say this. Bill had, and might as well do it right here, he had two good jokes.
You know, a lot of people, kind of connected me with a saying called, do your job, and telling people to do their job. And Gronk, I've been watching you on Fox NFL Sunday, and I'm begging you, please, stop doing your job.
Not bad.
Okay, so someone wrote that joke for him, and he decided to throw in 3 vocal tics.
Well, okay, so he is not great, as you
Play
said.
it again. Play it again. And tell me how he decided to deliver this joke.
Oh, I'm being kind. The first 2 jokes he tried to get out there.
If this was the hit, because I didn't see him.
The first joke was pretty. It was okay. It was welcome to the Tom Brady roast. I hope you enjoyed the roast of Bill Belichick, the 10-part Apple documentary. Okay, there's a laugh in there somewhere. He stumbled over it so bad that people didn't even know what he said.
Okay, so the joke is he goes, everybody, I'm famous for this phrase, do your job. And I had told it to Tom for years. Tom, you're doing Fox TV. All I got to say is don't do your job. Don't do it. Okay, here's how he decided.
A lot of people, kind of connected me with a saying called, do your job, and telling people to do their job. And Gronk, I've been watching you on Fox NFL Sunday, and I'm begging you, please, stop doing your job.
Okay, I don't believe that's real crowd noise. I don't believe that's real crowd noise. I don't believe that got that big a laugh. No way. Because if you wouldn't have told me it was a joke coming in, I wouldn't even maybe have known that was a joke.
Well, he made nice with Brady at the end of that thing, and they kind of did this thing. Kevin Hart, this was the douchiest moment of the night by far. After Belichick does this thing, he kind of hugs it out with Brady. Kevin Hart goes out there completely off prompter, off script, and he talks about how awesome it is that Bill came up here to do this. And he said this.
And the middleman is the hypothetical. The middleman is the assumption. Everybody has an assumption about the relationship of. And the dope thing is ultimately when you...
Stop. You think this involves, he's saying this for Diddy?
Oh. Excellent. I didn't even think about that.
Because if you don't know, Kevin Hart, according to Cat Williams, has got some stuff that's about to blow up. I don't know what it is, but it's just read complex.com. They go all over it.
Wait till the end of it.
Hypothetical. The middleman is the assumption. Everybody has an assumption about the relationship of. And the dope thing is ultimately when you see the relationship support one another and have fun with one another, that's what the relationship is. What I'm saying is What I'm saying to the world is mind your business, all right? Mind your business. Coach, good ready to come out.
Yeah. Mind your business unless we're begging you to pay attention to us and everything that we do and go see our movies and watch us on the Netflix roast and look at me, look at me, look at me. But if you're going to say anything that is even remotely critical, mind your business. That's none of your business.
I wonder if that's him addressing the Diddy stuff.
That's wonderful.
And
Wonderful theory.
I just wonder what that is. Like, mind your business. If there's a middleman. I wonder if that's him addressing like his role in the Diddy stuff.
Excellent. I like
He's
it.
like, you're friends with someone.
Yeah.
Because Schultz made the joke that we played earlier about connecting Puffy with or Diddy with Kevin Hart. So that's interesting. Well, one person that legitimately killed was Nikki Glaser. Here's some of what she had to say.
Bert, I love you. You know I'm such a fan of your joke.
Bert Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer. Right.
Mm-hmm. Bert Kreischer. His joke, which is the story of the trip to Moscow when he was in college.
Oh, no, it's not that one. It's the other joke.
Oh, yeah, when he takes his shirt off.
Right.
Bert, I love you. You know I'm such a fan of your joke. Shirts are supposed to stay on, but he takes it off. So good. Now please give it up for 0-time Super Bowl champion Randy Moss. I'm sorry, Randy. Why don't you have a ring? What the hell, man? You're one of the best ever. Drew Bledsoe has a ring. Aaron Hernandez had a ring around his neck. Like, what's going on?
That was the other surprise of the night. Many Aaron Hernandez /suicide references /murder references last night. Lots.
Was he secretly gay?
Julian, you have 3 rings around your right now, you squinty-eyed boy.
All right, someone has told me that Nikki Glaser had a relationship with Julian Edelman, but I cannot confirm that.
Interesting. I hadn't heard that.
And so if he did have 3 rings around his thing,
Yeah.
maybe she's referring to he's very gifted.
Interesting.
But let's get to the reason we're all here tonight. Drew Bledsoe. Drew bled so Tom could run. But Drew, I'm going to move on from you just like your team did after you almost died. Tom Brady, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, most career wins, most career touchdowns. You have 7 rings. Well, 8 now that Giselle gave hers back, but... Sorry, Tom. Tom, the only thing dumber than you saying yes to this roast was when you said, hey, babe, you should try jujitsu. I think that's gotta suck. Dude. How much would it suck for Tom? Oh, my God. Just knowing your ex-wife's new boyfriend can beat your ass while hers. That's gotta be terrible. You'll be okay, Tom. Yeah, you're great. You really are. I mean, you're the best to ever play for too long. I mean, you retired, then you came back, and then you retired again. I mean, I get it. It's hard to walk away from something that's not your pregnant girlfriend. It's tough. Hey, to be fair, he didn't know she was pregnant. He just thought she was getting fat. And Tom hates fat. I mean, do you guys know about his diet program? It is so strict, but if you follow it exactly as he does, you too can lose your family. And seriously, you can lose so much family. Tom also lost $30 million in crypto. Tom, how did you fall for that? I mean, even Gronk was like, me know that not real money. Like...
Her jokes about Gronkowski were phenomenal, but we can't play them because it's terrestrial radio. But and I don't even know if you can play them.
Though. That was pretty good.
Oh no, her jokes about Gronkowski being stupid were very good.
Yes.
All right, so this is what I got on Nikki Glaser. By the way, looked phenomenal. Like, she's always been good looking. She looked really, really good last night. I don't know if this means anything. Someone who know this about Nikki Glaser and Edelman. Someone who would know told me, I don't know if it's public or not, I didn't really ask. It seemed very unsurprising. His list of famous girls goes up by several every week. All right. You want to play a little of Kreischer and Segura, or do you want to play Randy Moss? What do you want to do? It's dealer's choice.
All right, let's do it. Let us do the.
I vote Randy Moss.
No, just let Hardy go. He's looking around.
No. The Randy Moss thing wasn't. It's just weird. It's disjointed. His whole bit was like, "I want a ring," and nobody thought it was funny. Much like they thought two professional comedians in Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura were not funny. They had an idea. They were going to go up there as a tag team, and they're going to go up there and they were going to make it all about one joke in particular.
I said, hit me. Tom Brady is just like another famous not-so-nice guy.
Wait, you mean that notorious team leader who was told he wasn't any good, but he still pushed through and made sure everyone knew his name?
You got it. Hitler!
Yeah!
They're so alike. The only difference is they look so cute together.
They do.
The only difference between Tom Brady and Hitler is that Hitler stuck with his wife until the end.
At least Hitler had the balls to do what we wish Brady would. Put a bullet in his head. Stay retired.
The whole idea was that he was the greatest white guy of all time, and that look, he's a psychopath. They brought up like this big chart of what makes a psychopath, and how Brady checks these boxes, and then they said he's like Hitler. I'm like, and again, the crowd is reacting, and
I don't think that's really
and I think
crowd
they're
noise.
mixing up crowd laughter and noise because like none of it landed.
Well, good for Kreischer, like, to deliver the line. He's like Hitler. Like, that's the. Here, I'm going to
Nick,
make.
do you still have the very beginning of it when Kreischer is laughing at himself?
Just pull anything.
Yeah.
That Bert Kreischer has ever done. He's constantly laughing at himself in an exaggerated fake laugh, and even his fans know that. I mean, Bert Kreischer laughs at everything, and it's not a real laugh.
No, it's. Anytime you hear a comedian doing that, breaking. It's so funny. It's so outrageous. They're breaking. There's no way they're still laughing at their own stuff especially when they're doing it night after night after night, and they're on tour. So it makes it. Here we go.
He was just like Hitler. All right.
We don't have it. Never mind.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Don't bother Nicholas. He just pointed to you that you have it.
Okay.
He's pointing to you like, hey, you got it, buddy.
Okay. Here. There it is from the very beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, for turning this special night into one more opportunity you couldn't turn down.
God, you are such a whore. And that's coming from me, Jeff.
Thank you for inviting us to celebrate the GOAT WG.
Wait, what's that? Wait, GOAT WG?
Greatest of all time white guy.
Yeah!
Greatest of all time white guy. Oh, yeah. Ugh. Well, anyway, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Now, listen, Hardy came in a little sassy today because he stayed up for all 3 hours of it. I did not. I had to bail out. After Nikki Glaser, I was like, okay, I've seen that. Nikki Glaser was great. And then I was like, and then I saw Randy Moss, and then I went, okay, no more. I've seen and then I saw Bledsoe, who plugged his wine, which I told you he would. He's got this like obsession. He's like Ray Bork with the restaurant. Like anytime you talk to him, he just has to talk about that wine. He wove it in. He had the comedians that wrote for him weave it into his material. He was holding a glass of it while he was up there.
But explain to me why, again, they can't just edit that thing and put it on at 8:00 tonight.
Okay, so what I heard about Netflix, and this isn't like a rumor like I had heard about not being able to talk about the divorce, which again I had heard wrong. Obviously, was that that Netflix likes live programming because the idea of having all eyes on it at the same time is better than people watching it sporadically throughout a course of like a month.
And I guess some of that stuff would leak out. The stuff that happened last night, we'd be hearing about today, and not as many people would feel compelled to watch it tonight.
But it's almost like they would. I have heard that they would prefer 10 million people to watch something at the same time than 15 million people to watch something over the course of a month.
Interesting.
And that's I told you that's what I heard about podcasts is that they're hard to monetize because if you can tell like Dunkin' Donuts that this show, who we can prove has this many listeners at this time, will be hearing your ad, they want that. Like episodic audio programming, I know, is difficult to sell. And like for streamers, the appeal of having live eyes on your product is big for them, which is why they were throwing all that money out to comedians to go live. Because like Chris Rock apparently at the end of his set that he did live on Netflix was kind of pissed because he had had stumbled over some jokes that he thought he could have done better.
Oh, yeah.
So ideally you want to tape your specials. Most specials that you see from comedians are two sets that they've combined into one.
Right.
Like they'll do the same theater twice and they'll combine it into one set.
And you can tell when you're watching one of those because they will go back to a certain point on the stage and you think they're restarting the joke because that's the only way they can remember it. They're live editing is what they're doing. They're
and so
back.
Netflix will overpay like Chappelle and Chris Rock to do live things because they want the eyes at the same time.
Yeah.
There is an appeal to them to have the live event. Now, it would have been much better edited down. You watched the whole thing. Don't you think they could have cut, an hour out of that thing?
At least you cut the entire Randy Moss. You cut all of Segura and Kreischer.
I bet you they wish they cut all of Segura.
You know what? I bet they wish they could cut Tom Brady because it was, Brady, you got to put the guy up there at the end of the night. It's his chance to defend himself.
He had one really good one.
One good line?
One really good line.
Which was?
About the Belichick and the ring camera.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just
that
like
was
because he
one,
talked about the ring camera.
That was one really good line.
And another thing they could have done with Brady is they could have given him double the material. He could have done it, and they could have edited it down to like a tenth of what he did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even knowing you were being taped and they were only going to use a tenth of your jokes, like 1 out of every 10 jokes,
right,
relaxes you to the point where you're kind of, because then you know you can screw up a bunch. There's a lot of, it's a better product taped by far. But they want it live. That's the deal. And so if you watched it, congratulations.
Kim Kardashian was only up there for 2 minutes, but she got booed mercilessly for the first 30 seconds, so they probably would have cut that out altogether.
She did for real?
Yeah. I've seen the video.
Why'd she get booed? What'd she do?
I didn't do anything, as far as I can tell.
Ray J fans?
No, I did.
Ray J never got the porn money. Ray J never got the big boost. He was the one doing all the work in that porn that made Kim Kardashian famous that her family signed off on.
We'll come back with the booing of Kim Kardashian.
All right. And also, what were Toronto fans thinking after the Game 7 last night? We will have that for you in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Guys, generally we hear talk about medicine and effective treatments for erectile dysfunction and other men's sexual health issues. Today, I want to talk about love, because love is the best reason to get treated for ED. ED can cause major relationship issues. In fact, men often push their partners away when ED becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, and even contribute to divorce. Think about it. If you're having erectile problems, you might feel bad about yourself. You might, then that gets your self-esteem. Then you start lashing out a little bit. Arguments happen, and then you got real problems in your relationship. What if I told you Northeast Men's Health treatments work when pills and herbals fail? That's right. They got 5 offices all over the Northeast. So get...
Point Up.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. And listen, the Boston Bruins are now playing with house money. I didn't realize how much I wanted them to win until they won. Here's my thought on just the series against Florida is obviously the Bruins, no one expects them to win. I listened to a lot of Toronto stuff this weekend, on Sunday, actually. A lot of Toronto stuff. Every time I was in the car, I was listening to the Toronto reaction. And I listened to a lot of it on Saturday, too, leading into the game. And no one's giving the Bruins a chance in this Florida series. Just nobody. Now, here's the deal, is that, they went 7 games with Florida last year. Montgomery's keeping his job. We all agree, right? Montgomery's not getting fired
and
now.
I also agree that Saturday night was the swing game. I also agree that if they had lost, he would have been fired today.
Oh, I absolutely think he would have been fired if they lost. Now, and I like Montgomery, and I it's good. So, and the players should be happy because I can guarantee you they were bringing in a hard ass if they got rid of Montgomery, because that's like two. They went from Cassidy, who was a hard ass, to Montgomery, who wasn't a hard ass, and they had more success with Cassidy. So I guarantee you they would have gone back to hard ass.
Yep.
So if I'm the Bruins, I'm excited. So he's sticking around. Now, so Montgomery, because he had lost his last deciding game with Dallas, he had lost the last series with Boston. So now that he's off to Schneid, now this is, an opportunity for him. He's loose. Now maybe he can convey that message to the team. The team is now doesn't have to worry about, we repeated the same thing. We lost again in the first round because last year was such a disaster. I don't think they're going to get muscled around like they did last year by Florida. I think they're going to be more prepared for it. I think they're a little bit more built for it. You're never going to see Grizzly, short of major injuries, you're never going to see Grizzly in a Bruins uniform again. He's never going to play for the Bruins again. He's gone. Do you think he'll play professional hockey next year?
Yes.
Okay.
There's something to be said about a puck-moving defenseman that is offensive-minded. I think that he will certainly find a spot.
He is so small.
I know that, but Torrey Krug signed how big a contract? I mean, granted, he's way overpriced and he's not nearly worth it, but it shows that teams are willing to spend money on guys like that.
Plus, Krug is a lot better than...
Krug is better. My point is, guys like Grizzly will always have a spot. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just, buyer beware, because...
Sure.
It doesn't look good going into free agency when you didn't play.
Right. No, but somebody will pay him. What?
Right.
Big minimum. He'll have a job.
Even a couple million a year.
But he'll have a job. Is my point.
Yeah. All right. So, but they're gonna be big on defense. We talked to McBride. He doesn't think Shattenkirk's gonna play right away in this series. He thinks Forbert or Peak are gonna play in this series. So this is from Toronto. They talked to people that were out and about in that square that was so famous. People with the scarves on.
What did they call the was they just called
Maple Leaf Square?
Thank you. Okay,
yes.
Good. Yeah. So this is a guy from 92.5 C something. All Canadian radio stations start with C, right? For the call letters?
Yeah, because they have to play Our Lady Peace every third song.
That's why.
Yes, and the other songs are Bare Naked Ladies
Kiss
and Triumph.
92.5.
92.5.
Yes.
That's right. And the guy's name is Dammit Maury.
Okay.
Our own Dammit Maury and Maple
I'm surprised
Leaf
that's
Square.
allowed on the Canadian broadcasting companies. His name is Dammit?
Dammit Maury. At Dammit Maury.
All right.
Maurice Sherman is his name.
Maurice Sherman in Toronto, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Here's the good Maurice Sherman, who John turned his back on so many years ago. With his goyish Christmas decorations.
Like how you kind of shoehorned that in. Yeah. We weren't anywhere in that vicinity. But
as soon as you said Maurice Sherman, we were in that vicinity,
okay,
John.
Fair enough. Okay.
John, who turned his back on his religion. Here we go. Maurice Sherman representing in Toronto.
No, my God, no. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. In overtime. Oh, my God. What just happened?
The Leafs just lost the series, man.
What just happened? Well, it wasn't hard to see. Pasternak got the
That
puck
big
in front of
video
the net.
screen in front of you is a good reveal.
No, but it's not like it was in a crowd and it like. And what did it get under? Did it get across the line? I mean,
yeah.
It it was a pass there by Lindholm.
Yeah,
brilliantly off the boards. Pasternak could beat his man, made a backhand move, lifted the puck a little bit, and not hard to see.
But damn it, Maury knows what he's doing, Fred. Damn it. And he is he's asking someone who's there, who's witnessed it, to describe the action, to tell everyone what just happened.
I thought this was Nick's thighs when he was walking to the bathroom.
No, my God, no. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. In overtime.
Because they're working overtime, and his two thighs are rubbing together on the way to the bathroom. Young Nicholas, that's how he bounces around.
Oh, my God. What just happened?
The Leafs just lost the series, man. All right, what do you want to talk, man? Just go.
Utter sadness in Maple Leaf Square. Talk to me right now. How do you feel?
Honestly, I love being here. I love the fans, love the energy. I have a lot of fun when I come here, and the Leafs always put on a good show for us, so I'm pretty pumped up.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ.
I hate him. I really do.
How could you hate him?
I didn't hate that fan base until this series. I thought, whatever. They've been through a lot. They suck.
Yeah.
They suck.
You weren't around last year when the same thing happened? Or 2 years ago when the same thing happened? Come on.
I guess I wasn't paying attention.
Now we know why this guy is a star. Now we know why this dude's a star.
Time now for Matt's opening thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
I mean, it's really nothing more than a self-absorbed monologue for Matt to rant about something and pretend he's a serious radio personality instead of a gas bag. Let's face it.
Yeah. I guess when you are just your fan base just goes like, oh shucks, I had a lot of fun in the energy. That maybe that when you're the gas bag, that's why you don't have to be so caustic. You can kind of get away with half-assing it.
I love the fans, love the energy. I have a lot of fun when I come here, and the Leafs always put on a good show for us, so I'm pretty pumped up.
Hey, but isn't that's right. You had a good time.
I had a great time.
Are you crying?
No, I'm not. I was about to. Almost.
Do you want to cry?
I might. Can I cry on your shoulder?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Can I cry on your shoulder?
Oh.
I guess.
We're all in this together.
Yes, please. Check, please. What if he's like, can I cry on your shoulder? That's it for Maury. Hear the mic drop.
Gotta go.
Gotta go. Mission accomplished.
Been out here chumming the waters all series long. Finally paid off.
Can I cry on your shoulder? Ooh. Yes.
You can. You recognize what the blue handkerchief in my left hip pocket meant.
Why don't you just go down there and hug my legs?
Almost.
Do you want to cry?
I might. Can I cry on your shoulder?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm kidding though, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm kidding though.
Well, I'm not.
Well, you had to make, and then just one single tear goes down Maury's cheek. I guess like I'm kidding because Maury was like, yeah. I mean, any kind of human embrace, just any kind of touch. Let me know I'm alive. I hurt myself today to see if I could still feel.
Almost.
Do you want to cry?
I might. Can I cry on your shoulder?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm kidding though, but yeah. Last year too, same thing happened. We expected it, but we got 7 this year instead of 5, so it's a bit better.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a nice bunch of guys.
Turn those frowns upside down.
It cost legit $20,000 to get into that game for some of those seats. $20,000, $15,000, $10,000 to get into a sporting event. I don't care how rich you are. You're talking about 5 figures for one thing. One thing that only happens once. And then people, so you've been priced out of it. So you have to stand outside like a dope, watch it again on a big screen. Then they crap it away. And by the way, there's not like a whole lot of wiggle room for them to get rid of this, the base that they've created. And you're just, last time we lost in 5. Now, it's a little bit better.
We'll
this
get
time.
him next time.
We'll have to check in with Matt Gauze later today. See what he has to say.
Oh, he's a gas bag. You
well,
don't
he
want to talk
is a gas bag.
Oh, yeah, we got to
sure
get Gauze for tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, because
this damn it Maury guy, they're just out there giving hugs to each other and talking about how much fun they had anyway.
Well, do you think Dammit Maury was out there really trying to get audio, or do you think he was trying to meet a friend?
He was looking for a date? Is that what you were saying?
I don't know if I'd call it a date. I might call it,
I believe encounters is what in the community refers to them as.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, I just think that, like Hardy said, perhaps like a light blue handkerchief in his back pocket, and he was saying, left pocket.
Jeez.
It's not the same as the earring?
No.
Okay.
And if you go yellow in the right, it's a whole different sitch.
Got it.
All I know is purple involves pain, is what I'm saying. Get the guy from Machine on the show post-haste.
What does a blue handkerchief in the left hip? That means you're sad. It means you're sad and you just want to cry on each other's
That means
shoulders.
just holding only. Just consensual holding. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Bruins visit the Florida Panthers tonight. This is...
We didn't know what to do.
I apologize. I wonder if they'll dock my pay. Because as John has experienced as well.
Oh, we never got to the vocal part of that bed before.
Huh. The Beasley Corporation, they're like, if you're going to be out for a while, we just got news for you.
Here's pennies on the dollar.
We're not paying you for nothing. Pennies on the dollar. Nothing on the dollar.
You still sore about that?
Not at all.
I'm not upset about it, but what pisses me off is when people are like, "Oh, Fred with his medical issues," like when my throat went off and I missed 5 weeks, I wasn't getting paid. Like it wasn't a 5-week trip to the Caribbean. I mean, it was not getting paid. All right, so we're going to talk to Sarah CIVIAN. I saw her at, she's a hockey writer of great acclaim. She's done national stuff. We're going to have her on to talk about the Bruins. Now, we were talking about this earlier. I will tell you this. I am in the camp that Linus Ullmark should start tonight. Here's my reasoning is that you have two goaltenders. Swayman, this is very short rest for him. There's overtime games. Play Ullmark tonight. Play Swayman in game 2. Regardless of how Ullmark does, if I was Jim Montgomery, I would make the announcement today. I would go, Ullmark is starting game 1, Swayman starting game 2, and then it's to be determined after that. And also, because I think if you play Swayman tonight and you lose, and then you play Ullmark in game 2, it just you've played Swayman in maybe you would have, if you just would have rested him more, because you're not playing him anyway. If you would have rested him more before playing him again, you would have gotten a better Jeremy Swayman.
Okay.
And then I don't think you can play Ullmark. It just, the longer you rest Ullmark, the longer you go without playing Ullmark, the harder it's going to be for you to play him.
Yes, and if all goes well, you won't play him again. So 2 reasons why you don't play Ullmark tonight. Number 1, the second guessing that will take place, and it's a fear-based decision, okay? You should be afraid of people saying, why did you start Ullmark? If he lets in one soft goal or even a halfway soft goal in what is ultimately a 3-2 loss, people are going to say, what the hell did you put Ullmark in for when Swayman has been so good?
All right, let me ask you this, though. If that happens, which is not ideal, and they lose game 1 on the road, but it means Swayman's better for the whole series, the series as a whole, would you take a game 1 loss knowing that you were more likely to have a dominant Swayman for the rest of the series?
I would, but I don't take it as an automatic.
Oh, sure. It's not. Yeah.
No, I don't take it as an automatic that Swayman needs the time off. Again, he's not 35, he's 25. He played Saturday. He can play tonight.
But he never does this. Like, this would be unprecedented for him to keep him you would think to keep him, he'd be more comfortable not playing tonight. Now, he'd tell you he'd want to play tonight, but maybe the reality is he would be more comfortable not playing tonight. Like, that would keep him on his schedule.
He's playing the best hockey of his career at the most important time of year. I think you do not mess with that.
Against a team he dominated against in a city where he plays very well. And by the way, and I don't know if this matters as much, but just for the sake of conversation, Ullmark has been very, very good against Florida.
Yep. He's been outstanding against Florida. Beat them 3 times this year. Didn't give up more than 2 goals in any of those 3 starts. I think he's 12-3-1 lifetime, save percentage of around .930. He's dominated them. But
all right, Stats Magoo.
Swayman has been playing unbelievably good. And yes, he's dominated Toronto, but more importantly, his confidence has probably never been higher than it is right now. Take advantage of that. Now, if he comes to the coaching staff and says, I can't do it, that's one thing. But I think he is fit and ready to go. Put him in there. Don't mess with the streak like this.
So he was dominant in the Maple Leaf series, and he didn't play in game 2. So maybe not playing in game 2 was an advantage to him, and that's why he played so well the rest of the series.
Maybe.
Huh?
Maybe.
Huh?
Huh?
I said
I think
maybe.
I'm making a lot of good points.
I think sitting Olmark for an extra couple of days isn't going to wreck him.
No, I understand that, but you do know that the more you don't play him, the harder it's going to be to put him in.
Sure, but 2 days isn't going to make the difference.
Well, it doesn't help things. It makes it more difficult. Now, it doesn't make it impossible, no, but it certainly makes it more difficult.
You start Swayman in game 1 because he won you that series. He won you. You wouldn't have beaten Toronto without him.
All right, I'll take a call. That's wrong. Jay, go ahead, Jay.
Sway's the way. All I can hear right now is Kurt Russell in the Florida locker room going, they just put the best goalie in the league on the bench. I mean, he could win it in 5. He could win the series in 5. He's playing that well. And then he'll get all the rest he needs.
All right, well,
you got to go Sway. All right. You don't screw with it.
All right, so you got to go Swayman. What about this, though? So say you start Swayman tonight, and he's not on his game. He's not terrible, but he's not in his game. Who do you start in game 2?
Then you readdress it. But he's earned the right. I mean, he's playing absolutely lights out right now.
So if you readdress it, but if you readdress it if Swayman doesn't play lights out tonight, why don't you take that possibility off the table? But then I'll give you another example. What if Allmark plays today and he's lights out? You play Swayman in game 2 and he's lights out, and then you have a problem. Then okay, what if you play Allmark tonight and he's lights out? You play Swayman game 2 and he's not. Then you play Allmark in game 3.
See, we had this argument in the 6 o'clock hour. I fully believe you ride the hot goaltender. If Allmark plays well tonight, if they start Allmark, I don't believe they should, but let's say you're right, and they start Allmark tonight, and he shuts Florida down, then you start Allmark in game 2. And you don't worry about going back and forth.
And we saw Allmark in game 2, which, by the way, wasn't 2 weeks ago. I mean, if he had to wait until game 2 of this series, he would be fine. But Swayman looked a little bit better than Allmark in just that 3-game sample of games 1, 2, and 3, which is why they stuck with Swayman. If you were to, at this point, go back, the only reason why I would do it is if Swayman were to admit, I'm still spent from that series and that game.
That's never going to happen.
And he's almost certainly not going to admit that, or there's something physically healthy wrong with him that he can't go. Otherwise, who looked better out of the two of them in that? And again,
Swayman was great. Swayman has earned the opportunity to be the starting goaltender throughout the playoffs. But I just think that based on the way they played this regular season, that playing Allmark in game 1 gives Swayman the opportunity to rest, and then you can just play. I'm not even saying to rotate the goalies after game 1. I'm just saying if you play Allmark in game 1 and you can play Swayman for the rest of the series, it just gives him that extra time off, which if you talk to all these analysts, and I don't know if they're any more right than you are, they're like, that's an advantage of the team. It's a strength of the team. It allows the guys to rest. It's like, being able to rest a relief pitcher. Like if you had two closers and you went, with one in game 1 and one in game 2, like to save their arms, it's better than not saving their arms. You know what I'm saying?
This is what you get by going into this rotation in the first place. You put yourself in a position where they are going to overthink it, just like you are overthinking it now. And yet it doesn't have to be this way. You can just play the better of the two goalies, even though it's on a little bit shorter rest than maybe you'd like. Got to get in there, got to go do it. And the fear-based aspect of it, Fred, I know it's not a great way to make decisions, but you should be afraid if Allmark goes out there and lets in a goal or two tonight, that loses you the game.
Then you've lost game 1 and you win game 2 and you got home court, you have home ice again. And by the way, do you understand or overstand? You say you overthink. You understand things. I overstand things.
Oh, I'm. You know what? Very cavalier of you to just want to drop game 1 and say that's okay. You can lose the first game of a series. What's the big deal?
I said that's a worst case scenario. You can lose. You can. By the way, we've learned that you can lose games when Swayman stands on his head. So listen, they're not gonna. No one thinks they're winning this series. But I like it better than I did going into Game 6.
Yeah.
SARA CIVIAN covers the NHL. She has her whole entire career. We will talk to her in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the
FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. And you got to subscribe. Oh, for the love of Christ, subscribe to the show, would you? And just get us on this algorithm. So yesterday I went with a friend. Not one friend, but two friends.
What? You went to... Are you going to mention that?
I went to something with two friends.
Wow. Did you meet them there?
No. I went with one, and the other guy was flying in, and he met us there.
Wow.
So it was at the F1 arcade or whatever it's called, and it was the thing Kendra was hosting, and they came up to me, and they said, hey, at 6 o'clock, we're doing a celebrity F1 race. Would you do it? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. And they're like, well, come on. It would be great. You do it. And I'm like, okay, if I'm here at 6 o'clock, I will do it for the zero money that I'm being paid for this event.
Sure. And
well, I stayed and did it. No. well, before 6 o'clock.
Oh. Was it celebrities or was it influencers?
Let's put it this way. In a field of people, I would have been the most famous, which is not a bunch of famous people.
Oh.
But I did meet influencers. And
did they influence you?
Yeah. I mean, I caught myself afterwards. I mean, it was a whole situation. I mean, it's not always positive.
It's not always a positive influence. I get it.
No, sometimes they're negative.
Sometimes there's a bad influence.
But I did one. It was a nice event though, and thank you to Kendra for putting me and my friends on the list. But one thing that came out of it is I saw SARA, and I said, "Oh, SARA, I know her. She covers hockey. We've been reading about her. We've been seeing her. I saw her on the Dan Le Batard show. I see her all over the place. I saw her. I said, hi, I'm Fred. And she said, oh, I'm aware of your little show. And I said, would you be kind enough to come on it? And she said, yes. And here we are a day later.
Nice.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello. It's time to influence the masses.
Yes, please help us influence the masses. All right. All right, so did you feel after the Bruins blew Game 5 and played that poorly that they had any chance to beat the Maple Leafs?
Honestly, no. It felt like the Maple Leafs year, but it never is, so here we are.
Yeah, it was a confluence of, bad mojo between the two teams. Do you feel that now that Montgomery – because Montgomery, I think, most likely would have been fired if they lost Game 7. They won. Now I don't think there's any way he gets fired. Do you think that pressure of them not repeating what happened last year is at all a benefit for them going into this Florida series?
Yeah, absolutely. And the way Montgomery was talking about it, I think was huge. Like you said, he might have lost his job if they lost, but they won. So he can say after the game, we've never been more confident. Of course they can say that, but I think it's huge that he said it.
All right, they went in with the idea of rotating goalies. It's a short, Game 7 to tonight, short rest period. See how I'm leading into this, John?
I do. I see what you're doing there.
Yeah. All right. You see,
don't be influenced by
seriously. I learned a lot yesterday about influencing. All right, Sarah, in your opinion, who started? If it was up, I'll ask you two things. If it was up to you, who would you start in goal? And then I'll ask you, what do you think is going to happen tonight? Who do you think Montgomery starts in goal?
I think I would start Ullmark just based on the stats against the Panthers this season and just in general because Swayman, I think he doesn't want a break, but he needs a break. And I think Montgomery's going to go with Ullmark.
All right, does this open him – Hardy, what was your – because Hardy and John both think Swayman play. I agree with you, Sarah.
Okay.
Because I think we know the game a little better than they do.
All right, let me ask Sarah a question. Here. Hi, Sarah. Why do you think Swayman needs a break?
I think there were so many hard-fought games, and he was I don't know. I go back and forth, right? Because he said he doesn't want a break. He said it himself, so it's kind of on us to believe him. But it went to 7 games. It went to overtime, and he was the best player on the ice for all of it, but that makes me convince myself that maybe he should keep playing. I don't know. It's a tough call.
Wow,
that didn't take much.
Yeah, and it was like 2 minutes of overtime. I mean, it was not a long overtime session.
That's true. Mentally, though, it's taxing, but he doesn't seem phased, so I don't know.
Right. I don't you know what? I agree with you. He doesn't need a break. You just talked yourself into it.
That was great how he just swung him right over to our side. Didn't take much.
No. Sarah, stick to your guns here. We're right. All right. So but here's the deal. What would be I'm going to ask you this. Do you think that there's any tactical disadvantage of Montgomery going, look, I'm playing, regardless of who should be playing goal, tactically, like, would it be giving the Panthers some sort of benefit if he said, listen, I'm going to start Ullmark in game 1, Swayman in game 2, no matter what happens, and then it's to be determined. Does that give it any advantage to the Panthers strategically?
I think that gives maybe an advantage to the Bruins because you're thinking like, oh, if they lose game 1, it's kind of like what happened last series. Like if you lose the game with one of them, just put the other one in, and it's like suddenly morale's improved. I think that's a good problem for the Bruins to have, but I think the Panthers are totally unfazed. Like, this is probably the most confident team in the league right now. I don't think they care what the Bruins are doing.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the Panthers as we go into this series. The Bruins had success against them this year, but obviously a physical team. What do they bring to the table? You mentioned their confidence.
Definitely last year and the way they are hungry for Stanley Cup after the way that ended. You've got Matthew Tkachuk, just an absolute personality, but you've got layers and layers to this team. Like, they remind me of the Penguins back in the day with the way that Carter Verhaeghe, like, just steps up. Like, when their top 3 players don't work, there's always somebody else. Like, the depth is insane. They have healthy defense now. They got Bobrovsky. I just think their attitude, too, the comments Matthew Tkachuk was making that they thought the Bruins were going to, like, win. They were expecting to face them. I just think they are really confident and have all the tools.
Do you think that Boston is better equipped to handle them this year than they were last year? Not in terms of skill level, but they were worn out. I mean, the Panthers wore them down over the 7 games. You know, the Bruins weren't the same team in Game 7 as they were in Game 1. Are the Bruins any better equipped to go against the team this year?
Yeah, I think the Bruins are a little more humbled this year, and I think the Panthers are a little less humbled. Like, we know what to expect from them, whereas we didn't last year. They were kind of a surprise. Now the Bruins are kind of the wild card in the equation, which I think gives a mental edge.
All right, so who do you think is going to win this series? Why and in how many games?
I think it's Panthers in 6. I think if it goes to 7, the Bruins might win that just because of those underdog vibes. But I do feel like the Panthers are just a tactically almost perfect team. I think Tarasenko at the deadline was exactly what they needed to round out their top 6. I just feel like they're going to come out of the East, and it didn't matter who they were facing in round 2.
You like them better than the Panthers in the East?
No, I like the Bruins. I mean, I like the Panthers. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you like no, not the Panthers. I mean, you like them better than Carolina in the East. I meant to say
Rangers.
You're good. You're good. The F1 event goal as well. I think the Hurricanes are going to lose to the Rangers. I just feel like that's a horrible matchup for them. So I think the Panthers are going to come out of that.
All right. So you think Rangers-Panthers with the Rangers winning the East?
No.
Rangers, Hurricanes. Jesus Christ.
This is like the Miami Sixers thing all over again.
This is the Miami Sixers thing again. This is Sarah, this has happened to me before.
Wow.
I've fallen apart mentally on the air.
Get it together. I think the Panthers are coming out of the East because they're too deep of a team. They've got playoff Bobrovsky. I feel like he's the factor, though, right? If he has one bad game, then anything could happen, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like how much is going to hinge? You know, we're talking about Ullmark, Swayman. He's the guy. Swayman, Ullmark. How much hinges on Bobrovsky? And if the same thing happens to the Bruins, they're unable to A, even put pucks on net, but B, if they're unable to solve the riddle of Bobrovsky, which it could conceivably happen. Like, it happened with Joseph Wall. They just weren't able to figure out a way to get the pucks either A, onto the net or past him for a couple of games. If that happens against Bobrovsky, yeah, it could go the way you were thinking, sir. I think it could be Panthers in 6.
The lack of scoring with the Bruins is scary, but Pasta has officially arrived, so anything can happen.
All right, Sarah. Sarah covered the Hurricanes for a very long time, and that there was a guy in Carolina threatened to beat me up. Radio host.
Does Sarah know that guy?
What's his name?
Oh, my God. Was it Adam Gold?
No, his name was Kyle.
Kyle what?
Bailey, I believe.
Kyle Bailey.
Oh, he's from Charlotte. That doesn't count.
Okay, because he was because I hung up on one of these hurricane writers because I said, what was it? I said, what was it going to take to? I said something about the series, and his analysis was who scored the most. So I was like, oh, well, I don't care for this any longer. And that riled up Kyle Bailey to some degree.
Well, you said I can't listen to a guy talk hockey with a Southern accent.
Yeah, but
they're triggered by that one.
Yeah, but it's true. It is true. And also, he was a dummy. Like, if he covers the team, he should really who scores the most. That's an interesting take on the whole situation. And then this Kyle Bailey fella, he said he didn't care for that, so he said I was unhinged. And then I made fun of him, so he called our program director how many times, John?
I think it was 8.
He called like 8 times
during
in a
one
row.
shift, like 8 in a 30-minute span.
Yeah, he didn't like me.
No, he's okay. He's on the level. That guy.
So Sarah,
He's
if you're
all
ever
right.
in Charlotte, you stay away from that Kyle Bailey.
Hopefully I'm never in Charlotte again.
What do you mean?
Congratulations for escaping.
You don't want to be in purgatory for bankers? All right.
The Chili's of America.
It really is. Why? And that airport sucks too. All right, Sarah. Well, listen, I would like to. Hopefully, the playoffs go and the Bruins get a little hot, and I'd love to have you on again. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'd love to be here. Thanks so much.
All right, Sarah Civian covers the NHL Bleacher Report.
I didn't care for you saying the Charlotte airport sucks. I got an Arby's there.
Oh, and you have time to get there because you only have to walk 3 miles between gates. They have no transit system at that airport.
I get Arby's like once, maybe twice a year, and over the past 5 years, one of those times was at the Charlotte airport. And I appreciate them.
There's an Arby's by where my parents lives, and the woman that handed me the bag of food through the drive-through window, looked to be actively diseased.
Oh,
so I didn't eat. I've never done this before. She handed me the food. I said, thanks so much, and threw it away. I didn't even open the bag.
Oh, no.
She looked that bad, huh?
Sores.
Oh,
I was going to say, was it a complexion issue? Was it a runny nose?
They were not facial sores.
Oh, I would have done the same
hands?
thing. Oh,
She had a short sleeve shirt on.
oh boy.
She was like the Red Hot Chili Peppers
Oh.
covering All Along the Watchtower.
Okay,
She was
well.
covered in tracks. It's a Neil Hamburger joke. So the joke would
What
be...
are the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
No, he goes, why do the Red Hot Chili Peppers have to pay? This is just, I'm making it up. Jimi Hendrix. Why? Because they covered his tracks. No, I think the joke is, why did the Red Hot Chili Peppers... Because how many Red Hot Chili Peppers does it take to screw in a light bulb? 1 to screw in the light bulb and 5 to shoot up.
They're all on heroin.
Why did the Red Hot Chili Peppers record their album across from a pawn shop while they could take all their gold records there to get money to buy heroin? What does Harriet Tubman and the Red Hot Chili Peppers have in common? Well, Harriet Tubman was a heroine to slaves, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers are slaves to heroin.
Neil Hamburger before his time. If he came out now, he'd be huge.
He's Turkey. Now he's himself. He does stuff with Tim Heidecker.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right, you've heard a lot about how treating low testosterone can improve your sleep, your workouts, your energy levels, and more, but I want to talk about your sex drive because low testosterone can have a significant impact on your desire for intimacy. It can even be a factor and erectile dysfunction. If you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, a low sex drive can really be a problem. Why? Why miss the joie de vivre, the mojo that made you the way you were as a younger man? When Northeast Men's Health can help you so much. NortheastMen'sHealth.com. Go there, take their low T quiz. It'll only take you a couple minutes. Then you get an appointment if they feel that you're a candidate and you want to. It's only $99. You'll get a medical consult, T and PSA test. Now, if you decide to get testosterone treatment, if they think you're a candidate the day of your appointment,
Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we are Dutcher and Hardy, and here is an email for you. Here is what you. This is from Dr. Stefan. So I don't. But then he's got like a kind of Dr. Demento last name, so I don't know if he's really a doctor or just a doctor of like horror. Here's what you guys should be broadcasting over the airways from 98.5 The Sports Hub. To all New England fans, check out the prices of tickets at TD Garden for this Florida Panther series versus the Boston Bruins playoff series at TD Garden and at the Amarant Arena in Sunrise, Florida. TD Garden is ripping the fans off greatly, whereas Amarant Arena and the Panthers organization are reasonably pricing their tickets. Big-time Bruins fan Dr. Strange. I wonder why that would be. That tickets for the Florida Panthers would be less expensive than tickets for the Boston Bruins. It's supply and there's another word for it. Supply and
God, what is something? I don't know. It escapes me too. But yeah, that could have something. That could have something to do with it.
Yeah, I don't think a big fan base for the Florida Panthers, and also they're in Sunrise, Florida, which you've never been. You might have made the same mistake as me. I was in Miami one time, and I went, oh, it would be fun to go see a game there and see the Maple Leafs. Like, I've never seen them play, or maybe I had, and I realized, oh, that's like an hour outside of Miami. Sunrise, Florida is in the middle of nowhere. It's across the street from a shopping mall.
But other than that, it's Gatorland off to the left, right?
Yeah,
it's right on the edge of swampland in the middle of the state.
It's like in a very odd area for them to be in. So, yeah, no one likes the Panthers. They're not a big draw.
You can see the Everglades from there. That's how far off in the middle of nowhere it is.
Yeah. All right. I got this one from Dave. It says, Gronk was not very funny, but is literally better at being Bert Kreischer than Bert is. Wallach would have been fantastic at the roast last night, not because of his exquisite timing, but rather because he is so comfortable in his devout racism.
Right. And that's what you have to do to sell jokes like that. You have to believe it at some level. And if you believe it at a deep, almost cellular level, like John does, then the audience is even more shocked, and then the hilarity ensues.
Hot off the presses, just sent in 926, but it says you're 100% right. Correct on your goalie take, so I'm reading it.
Okay.
And you're hearing it for the first time just like I am. I haven't even pre-read it.
All right.
This is hot off the presses.
Sure.
But it's 100% right, so I'm reading it.
Of course.
Fred, don't let those two Maroons get to you. The Bruins should absolutely go with Ullmark in Game 1. Swayman could use the rest, and what better time to give it than Game 1 rather than 3 or 4. Also, John says, and he puts no H, so he's a fan.
Okay.
Also, John says to ride the hot goalie, but then immediately says, I don't think having Ullmark sitting an extra game will affect his play. What is it, John? Why don't you make up your mind, you dumb bird?
Well, Linus isn't a hot goalie, so he can sit him all he wants.
Well, I mean, if momentum means something, then you could play Ullmark.
This from Jack and a Prius. You have to stick with Swayman. I'm just terrified that the team is thinking more long-term, and putting Ullmark in helps his trade value in the offseason.
Oh, no. They wouldn't play Ullmark for his trade
your
value.
goddamn goalie who is in the effing zone right now. This from Jack and a Prius.
Now, John hasn't only turned his back on religion, he's turned his back on every religion. G-D.
GD.
Yep. That's where he went.
I'd go so far as to say if Swayman plays tonight and lets in a soft goal, so what? You play him again in Game 2. Now you've already abandoned the rotation. Don't go back to the rotation now.
I am really, as a Bruins fan, hoping that they play Ullmark tonight. I really am.
Why?
Because I think that you have an advantage of having these two goalies. Ullmark plays well against Florida. It's such a short rest time between you're traveling to Florida. There's no rest. This is if you have two good goalies. This particular situation, Game 1 with no rest. If you were ever going to play your backup goalie, this would be the game. Short of Swayman crapping himself, but in an ideal world where you've won the last series and both goalies played well, this is specifically the time that you would do it.
See, I say in an ideal world, you have a goalie who has asserted himself to be the better of the two, and you play him in every single game. And that's what you have.
Yeah, but you are in a unique situation where you have two on paper, two number one goaltenders. This would be the time to play the other one to rest the superior goalie.
On paper, on ice, who was the better of the two in the first round?
I never said Swayman wasn't better. Swayman is better. Swayman should play the vast majority of the games. I don't disagree. I think you'll get a better Swayman from games 2 through 7 if you don't play him tonight.
You better hope if they play Allmark tonight, he's not even partially responsible for a loss. Because if he is, you have to spend 4 hours tomorrow saying, it doesn't matter, it's just one game. You can't walk that back because you've already said that. If they lose tonight.
I think if Swayman doesn't play tonight, he will play better for the rest of the series. I think regardless, that's not fair because I said regardless how Allmark plays, I think Swayman should probably play the rest of the series. This is the game Swayman shouldn't play. This is the game. And then I'm hoping, and even if Allmark plays poorly tonight, I still said, in fact, Hardy, it doesn't matter what happens tonight. How dare you? If Allmark doesn't play well tonight, it doesn't change my opinion. I think Swayman should start game 2 regardless of how Allmark plays.
All these goalies, I know that they weren't accustomed to playing, multiple games in a row, but the physicality of their game does not change. You should, if you're that concerned about guys playing multiple nights, why aren't you so concerned with the forwards and all these guys who have to put all these minutes in a more physical contest than what they're used to playing in the regular season? It doesn't bother them. It shouldn't bother your goalie, who's the physicality of the game does not change. For him, it's the same.
Okay, I can make that argument. Is that even on teams with crappy backup goalies, the starting goaltender doesn't play every game during the regular season. I mean, your best players play almost every game of the regular season. Even a team with a garbage backup goalie, the backup goalie starts 20 games.
Yes. That is true. That is true.
Thanks.
They don't play every single night, and you have to have spells for your goalie. But it has long been
not the same. It's not the same as the forwards.
It's not the same, but it has long been the notion if you have a number one goalie, he plays in the playoffs.
Bring up YouTube. Your friends on YouTube. Have you been watching it this morning?
I haven't even logged on.
Oh, Jesus.
How about that?
You're letting him down. Sorry, Riz.
Good for you.
That's good. Say it on the mic. Say it on the mic.
He was so cranky.
He was so cranky.
Didn't even want to get on the YouTube this morning.
He was so cranky. What did he do this morning before the show?
Of the Mondays.
What did he do before the show to me?
He lost his mind.
He yelled at me. He looked at me like I had two heads.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize.
It's just, you know what? But why even do it in the first place? I mean, I never do it. The guitar playing.
What do you want to know from the YouTube?
Okay, because I'm about to read this thing. The guitar playing during commercial breaks on YouTube feeds. I guess the guitar playing during commercial breaks on YouTube feeds is unlistenable. I demand a change, or I'll be forced to unsmash the subscribe button. If you have the show on in the background, like I do occasionally, it drives you batty. Please and thank you. Thank you, Michael. Now, what are the people on YouTube saying? Are they saying that this is an issue, the guitar playing? Is there a cool guitar playing during the breaks? Is it a tasty riff? What are we doing
here?
You're
saying in the times that you cannot air the commercials on YouTube, they fill with what they want. No, it's not our choice. It's their choice.
Can we make maybe samba music? Something to get people going in the morning instead of rock and roll? I don't know.
I just logged on and I even commented, "Hi, sorry I'm late. I couldn't log on first thing this morning because I was busy yelling at Fred."
Doesn't feel too good, does it, John?
I don't know. I was uncomfortable watching the whole thing.
I mean, you're not used to getting yelled at. Kreischer.
Oh, is this what about the two of them performing together?
Yeah, go ahead.
The two together is so cringy.
Yeah.
I understand an interview talk show format podcast is entertaining, but as a live comedy duo, they were awful. Literally the worst of the night. That rehearsed skit was so uncomfortably bad. I don't know how anyone would think it was funny, especially in that room, in that setting. It's a bunch of jocks, and you're going to do like this, like informative maybe on paper, funny idea where you're going to compare Tom Brady to a psychopath and bring up Hitler, which is obviously like a complete exaggeration, but the whole thing didn't land. And why are these two going to team up all of a sudden?
All right, so they do Two Bears, One Cave, Hardy.
Oh,
but
I don't know about that.
Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura do that. And here's the thing. Two guys in my recollection have broke form during the roast, and those two guys are Norm Macdonald and Bill Hader. Norm Macdonald with his famous set where he did old-timey jokes from a joke book, and Bill Hader where he played basically Robert Evans. And he said he was like the president of Hollywood. What do Bill Hader and Norm Macdonald have in common? They are two of the funniest people ever to grace the face of the earth. So they can break form during that. Guess who aren't two of the funniest people on the face of the earth? Yeah. Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura. And I can tell you this, if even Hardy and I, and those two have worked together forever, if Hardy and I did a skit on the Tom Brady roast, it might have not been funny, but it wouldn't have been as poorly acted as that. There's no excuse for two people to know each other that well.
Did you catch
to struggle that much? I mean, they bombed, and they know they did. They'll address that they bombed. They'll admit they bombed.
Did you catch any of Will Ferrell coming out as Ron Burgundy?
No,
I did a little, yeah.
But Anchorman,
I got the middle of it.
Anchorman is my favorite movie my favorite comedy of all time. My second favorite movie of all time because I'm original. Under Goodfellas. I'm the one who likes Goodfellas the best.
Right.
Anchorman's my favorite comedy. There's a Ron Burgundy podcast. It's not even mildly amusing. And this, Hardy, from a man who still listens to the Too Much Tuna podcast, the Princess Di one that was released over COVID.
I just listened to it another episode 2 nights ago when I was trying to fall asleep, and I listened to episode 2. I think I shall scream.
I listened to I Think I Shall Scream when I was waiting for my daughter last week to pick her up from school.
So the thing with Ferrell, he came out and he had like a funny opening idea, and that was Ron Burgundy thought he was in New York, and he kept saying, "Yeah, Madison Square Garden. How about those New York Knickerbockers? They're gonna do it." And I think if he had just done the whole thing and not even barely referenced Brady, it would have been fine. But then it went on for so long. It went on for so long.
Again, that's good. They did it live. I know why they did it live. But I had heard they usually go 3+ hours, and they edit it down to the tightest 44 to hour, minute, or 60 minutes. And so they're taking out, 2/3 of the show, which you watched the whole thing last night. Believe me, I know you yelled about it. But you think
only because you came in yelling about what you didn't want to play.
John, did I raise my voice?
No, he did not raise his voice.
Did I act like dominating in any way?
Did I raise my voice?
No, neither of you were. I just said you very uncomfortable, wildly uncomfortable for the rest of us in the room.
Yeah,
watching the
it's kind of unfair. The two of us go at it. That requires two people to go at it.
Yes, two people who actually care about the show and have things to contribute to
I'm just busting your balls about that. But the thing is, I do have an honest question. I asked you before, just again, if you, having watched the whole thing, how much of it could they have cut out? Like it was 3 hours. How long should it have been?
An hour and 40 minutes.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so cut out almost half.
Now, to be honest, we all first guessed this on Friday.
Well, every comedian doing it knew it. They all knew it. They said it on their. I mean, we heard the Schultz guy say it.
Yeah,
he said that it's too long and it should be edited, and we all knew that. But Kreischer and Segura bombed worse than Randy Moss, who was not funny at all.
No, Randy Moss wasn't very good. Bledsoe wasn't terrible.
No, he wasn't terrible. No, that's why
Bledsoe
we didn't play
came in. Yeah, he was actually first. Talk about the betting odds we talked about on Friday. He was first.
Yeah,
he wasn't bad.
But the funniest thing is he brought up his wine, which I just find outstanding. Like he never finds a moment not to bring it up.
Bledsoe was out there 5 or 6 minutes. It took him 90 seconds to bring it up.
And you could look it up on the internet. I won't believe it. There's no way that winery makes a single dollar. Not one. Not a chance.
It's tough to make money in that business.
So, exactly. And there's no way the name Drew Bledsoe is selling wine. It's just not.
Credit to Sam J., who I thought had a good set and can't air any of it. filthy, funny, but filthy.
All right.
Andrew Schultz, that was all right.
Do you have the Kevin Hart joke he made handy by any chance? If you don't, it's fine. But he did address the Kevin Hart allegations.
Yes.
Because if you listen to Cat Williams or read any of the people that are interested in this, did Kevin Hart seem uncomfortable to you, like almost something was in the back of his mind that he knew trouble was coming? Or is that just my own imagination?
I want you to be right for obvious reasons, but I
don't want him to get in trouble. I hope none of it's
but
wrong.
I understand where you're going with this. I didn't see it
Let's
that
put
way.
it this way. If it was all black comics, like Kevin Hart would have been destroyed last night.
The man in the arena, the GOAT. Tom, I know Bill Belichick showed up late, but don't worry. I'm sure he has someone secretly recording this so we can watch the whole thing later, okay? Bill has secretly filmed more guys playing for the other team than Diddy. That's your boy, Kev. A lot of tight ends turn wide receivers, if you know what I mean.
You guys don't read about this stuff, huh?
No.
Oh, yeah. It's every day. There's something.
Maybe I should.
Oh, yeah. Like, half of it I can't really understand. But like, the stuff... Like, when Cat Williams was on that Club Shay Shay, I didn't really know what was going on. Like, because Cat Williams is so crazy. Like, everyone knows. He's just crazy. Right. But he was saying all this crazy stuff. And the best thing was Shannon Sharp wasn't stopping because Shannon Sharp didn't know what he was saying either. So, like, he just let him go. I mean, he was making fun of Shannon Sharp to his face. He's like, I respect you so much for having this platform. You know, it's obvious you never prepare for any of your interviews. You're a terrible interviewer. And Shannon's like, yeah. You want to do a shot? And then he's like, yeah, you're horrible. And then, but he was saying all this stuff. So then I read that and like read it being dissected. Right. And then 50 Cent started getting involved and going and piling on the Diddy stuff and saying, I've been telling you. Then other black celebrities started piling on. And then they raided his house, and now the Kevin Hart's name's been brought into the whole situation. It's a very, very – it's weird that it's not being covered more by, like, mainstream media. That it's almost entirely, like, black entertainment outfits that are covering this thing.
There was one more Edelman thing, and I think this will be the last thing we do, but it kind of – if this is the clip I'm thinking of, it's the one that kind of speaks to – one of my main takeaways from the night, other than it was too long.
When we played together, Tom, you used to scream, "Laser focus! Laser focus!" Now, that's what he screams at his plastic surgeon. Who's laughing now, Tom? Not you, because your face can't move and you don't have a sense of humor.
So them making fun of Brady at times, like either saying he didn't have a sense of humor or Gronk saying, I played with you all these years. I don't know you at all. I don't understand you. All those guys and all the Alex Guerrero jokes, there were a ton of them. Edelman, Gronkowski, all those guys reacted in such a way that they're like, yes, finally, thankfully, somebody said he doesn't have a sense of humor. I don't even know who this guy is. And him and Alex Guerrero, the whole thing was weird. Anytime Brady got called weird or unknowable or different, those guys all just fell out because that's what they've been wanting to say this whole time.
Yeah, sounds familiar. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
SportNH.com. Who's Your Caddy Classic online auction. We're back for the 13th Who's Your Caddy Classic, benefiting the Pediatric Advanced Care Team at Boston Children's Hospital. We're teeing off early with an online auction that starts in 10 minutes. Visit 985thesportshub.com/caddy. You can bid on the following items. You can play with me and Hardy. You can play with Felger and Maz.
How come you're not playing? Oh, you're doing the show that day.
So are you broadcasting from there?
You can speak into the mic.
Excuse me. Yeah, we're broadcasting live from there.
Okay.
You can get an autographed Rob Gronkowski football. The best tight end of all time, an NFL player, isn't worth more than a hockey stick signed by 3 NHL players.
3 pretty good ones, though.
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, I think you'd be surprised the price of Gronk's footballs if you look them up. Like Brady's, yeah. But
I don't think it's worth like $100,000.
No, God, no,
I think it goes for $1,000 at the auction.
Well,
somebody will buy it for that.
I think we
yeah.
got $1,600 for the stick.
All right, then it's going to go for $5,000.
Okay.
There you have it.
All right. Well,
Take that,
we'll
put
see.
that, and then the Revolution soccer ball will go for a guy who promises not to throw it away.
Is it signed by what's the coach's name?
Which one?
Caleb Porter.
Which one?
The one we interviewed. Was it signed by all 3 coaches last year? Jeez.
You know, there's too many coaches.
It's Richie Williams
I've always
on
been
it. Come
saying
on.
that. The Revolution have got too many coaches.
It's Richie Williams' name on it. I hope he's
Richie Cunningham's name's on it. Regular foursomes for the tournament at Brook Meadow Country Club will go on sale Tuesday, May 14th at 10 a.m. And may I thank the good people at Long Drink, Footjoy, PXG, the Seaport Hotel, and the Alamo Draft House.
Finally, this year, Zoe, I would like to set you up with an easel and have you do caricatures.
I think that'd be great.
For money. You make a donation,
Sure, yeah.
and you will do a quick caricature of somebody. How much money could we bring in if Zoe does? And how long would it take you to sketch one? 3 minutes?
3 minutes tops.
Right?
3 minutes tops.
Yeah,
if it's a good sized pad and you get me a Sharpie, yeah. We
Commit to doing 10 of them?
Yeah, sure.
You could get at $200 each.
And the first one I'll draw is Fred.
That's $2,000.
You did my dead cat already, you son of a bitch.
Is that cat still alive?
No, the cat died, and you made fun of me while I was driving back from the vet.
Yeah, we can't talk about that.
No, but when he made you the
stop
card,
talking about that dead cat. We're gonna get in trouble with the dead cat people.
When he made you the card with the dead cat in the cemetery, the cat did not die. You just took the day off because you thought the cat might be dying.
No, I did go to the vet, but the cat didn't die. But I'm glad that delights
I think
you.
the cat went all over itself. That's why you stayed home.
Huh?
The cat went all over itself. That's why you stayed home.
Went all over itself?
Yeah, you said it peed. It was peeing and puking all over the house.
Yeah. It was. It died 8 months later. It wasn't
Nine lives. Yeah,
it was a 21-year-old cat.
Yeah, you kept that thing running, boy.
You got that right. Alley cat food. $1 a bottle. About $1 a bag. Bottle.
Bottles of food.
I'm thinking 30 years in the future for me. What can I get for $1 a bottle? I was able to. 4 people gave me a quarter. All right, what do you got going today, you two knuckleheads?
Same stuff you had. Everything you had. We'll probably start with the Bruins and who should play in net tonight.
Yep.
I'm kind of with you, Fred.
I think Bertrand's with me too.
Yeah, he'd be a Swayman guy. No, he'd be Allmark 1357.
So you think Allmark too?
Well, I think off short rest Allmark.
I agree.
But I think it is Swayman's job.
I think it's Swayman's job, but not tonight.
Yeah, we'll get into that. And the Brady roast.
Yeah. Well, how did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Your boy Bledsoe pimps that wine, man. Hachi, machi.
He did good. I thought he did well.
I didn't think he did bad at all. I just find it fascinating that he pimps that wine so much. Like, it's unbelievable.
$93 a bottle.
Who's the guy in the hat sitting next to Lonnie Paxton?
Oh, God.
Lonnie Paxton was on the day.
I know that
It was
in
Matt
itself
Light,
is-
Lonnie Paxton, some guy in a hat.
I have
and
his
then
number.
Rodney Harrison.
You see Nate Solder? Solder was there.
Yes, Copen was up there.
Lonnie Paxton was on the dais?
Yeah.
Did anyone make a long snapper joke? There was
one Lonnie Paxton joke.
And it was from a player?
And it killed.
Yeah. I have Lonnie Paxton's number in my phone. How about that? All right. You guys have a great show. That'll